中山的神奇就在于，你来了就不想走，走了还想来。
I like 中山，
我中意中山，
我喜欢中山。
来到中山，你才会知道，颜如玉、形似水、质如华这样的词语，还可以用来形容一个城市。将打造湾区人文地标作为目标，人们用心用情，精心雕琢高品位文化引领型城市。
你知道吗？每天叫醒我的不是闹钟，而是鸟鸣。
太早。
呼吸不用太用力，因为高密度植被提供的氧气很可能会让你沉醉。
爷爷，我闻到了花香的味道。
是啊，自古以来，我们这里就叫香山嘛。
生态之城，宜居福地，兼山林田之富饶，并江海湖之韵秀。这里的生活足以诠释你对幸福的全部定义。曾经创造奇迹的，还将创造更大的奇迹。
2分钟，对，声音。
这座天生自带伟人光环，将敢为天下
1、2、3 ，1、2，
可以的城市，又怎么会停下书写传奇的脚步？2020年，中山逆风飞扬，突围而出，经受住了疫情防控和经济下行惯性双重大考，主要经济指标企稳回升，经济发展实现关键性微型反弹，跑出了全省第1的加速度。火炬开发区、翠亨新区、綦江新城3河鼎立格局日益凸显。电子信息、白色家电、装备制造3个1000亿级产业集群熠熠生辉，建成3个省级大数据产业园，高新技术企业数量超过2500家，光子科学中心、先进低温技术研究院等重大科技基础设施加快布局。深茂铁路、南沙港铁路加快建设，4纵5横高速公路、2环12块干线公路加速成网。广州地铁18号线南延中山段年底动工，深圳地铁33号线西延中山项目正加紧谋划。深中通道关键节点已全面打通，大桥通车之际，必是中山崛起之时。1小时湾区都市圈，半小时深中同城。
我想，这就是我想要的生活。
在这里，一切可能的后顾之忧都被料理得妥妥帖帖。你要做的就是心无旁骛，向前奔跑。我们办事效率虽然称不上光速，但有时也能达到秒速。
您的业务已办理完毕。
你办好吧？来中山就对了。
我们所追求的是更美好的生活。2020年，中山城镇新增就业5.3万人，新增中小学、幼儿园学位1.5万个，城乡居民收入差距全省最小，连续6届获得全国文明城市荣誉，4次捧回长安杯。舞台已经就绪，大幕就要开启。更加动人心魄的是充满各种可能性的未来。
可能性我很感兴趣。
2021攻坚之年，中山全力推进3+4重大产业平台建设头号工程，形成平台建设统筹合力。
各位领导、各位来宾，
连片产业用地
下午的论坛马上就要开始了，
产业项目，
请大家抓紧时间入席就坐，并将您的手机调为关机或者是震动的状态，保持会场的安静。谢谢。各位领导、各位嘉宾，下午的论坛马上就要开始了，请大家抓紧时间入席就坐，并将您的手机调为关机或者是震音状态，保持会场安静。谢谢。
这里拥有湾区最完整的产业链，先进装备制造、生物医药、光电信息产业正不断提升。5G 技术、人工智能与高端装备、健康医药、新能源与新材料等高新技术获得优先发展。资金、人才、信息、技术以前所未有的速度云集而来。那些你以为熟悉的，正在日新月异；那些你以为平常的，正在迭代升级。
主人您好，打开烟机，烟机已打开。
这里最看重诚信、稳健和实干精神。这里同样欣赏气魄、创新和理想主义。中山欢迎您拥抱大湾区，共谋大发展，共赢大时代。乘势而上，重振虎威，湾区枢纽，精品中山。中山在哪里？很简单，你只要往粤港澳大湾区的几何中心看一看。这里虽然没有机场，但我的周围全是机场，还有公路、铁路、水路，你可以任意选择抵达的方式。中山其实就在你的生活里，买灯饰、买家具、买电器、买五金，你想买的，这里应有尽有。买累了之后，你或许还会流连于这座国家历史文化名城的独特风情。传统建筑雕刻时光，民间艺术名扬四海，地道美食惊艳味蕾。中山的神奇就在于，你来了就不想走，走了还想来。
I like 中山，
我中意中山，我喜欢中山。
来到中山，你才会知道，颜如玉、形似水、质如华这样的词语，还可以用来形容一个城市。
各位领导、各位来宾，
将打造
下午的论坛马上就要开始了，请大家抓紧时间入席就坐，并将您的手机调整为静音或者是震动状态，保持会场的安静，谢谢。
你知道吗？每天叫醒我的不是闹钟，而是鸟鸣。
孩子，
呼吸不用太用力，因为高密度植被提供的氧气很可能会让你沉醉。
爷爷，我闻到了花香的味道。
是啊。 自古以来，我们这里就叫香山嘛。
生态之城，宜居福地，兼山林田之富饶，并江海湖之韵秀。这里的生活足以诠释你对幸福的全部定义。曾经创造奇迹的，还将创造更大的奇迹。 这座天生自带伟人光环，将敢为天下先精神融入血脉的城市，又怎么会停下书写传奇的脚步？ 山逆风飞扬，突围而出，经受住了疫情防控和经济下行惯性双重大考，主要经济指标企稳回升，经济发展实现关键性微型反弹，跑出了全省第一的加速度。火炬开发区、翠亨新区、綦江新城三河鼎立格局日益凸显。电子信息、白色家电、装备制造3个1000亿级产业集群熠熠生辉，建成3个省级大数据产业园，高新技术企业数量超过2500家，光子科学中心、先进低温技术研究院等重大科技基础设施加快布局。深茂铁路、南沙港铁路加快建设，4纵5横高速公路、2环12块干线公路加速成网。广州地铁18号线南延中山段年底动工，深圳地铁33号线西延中山项目正加紧谋划。深中通道关键节
各位领导、
已全面
各位嘉宾，
大
下午的论坛马上就要开始了，请大家抓紧。
Ladies and gentlemen, our forum will begin shortly. Thank you.
或者是震动的状态，保持会场安静。谢谢。请大家抓紧时间入席就座，我们的论坛马上就要开始了。
在这里，一切可能的后顾之忧都被料理得妥妥帖帖。你要做的就是心无旁骛，向前奔跑。我们办事效率虽然称不上光速，但有时也能达到秒速。
您的业务已办理完毕。
您办好了。来中山就对了。
我们所追求的是更美好的生活。2020年，中山城镇新增就业5.3万人，新增中小学、幼儿园学位1.5万个，城乡居民收入差距全省最小，连续6届获得全国文明城市荣誉，4次捧回长安杯。舞台已经就绪，大幕就要开启，更加动人心魄的是充满各种可能性的未来。
可能性，我很感兴趣。
2021攻坚之年，中山全力推进3+4重大产业平台建设头号工程，形成平台建设统筹合力，加快连片产业用地整备，导入高端产业项目，以3个年为突破口，推进产业合理布局，致力打造类深圳一流营商环境。以6大战役为抓手，加快城市基础设施配套建设，提升政务服务环境，守护必。
各位领导、各位嘉宾，下午的论坛马上就要开始了，请大家抓紧时间入席就座，并将您的手机调整为静音或者是震动状态，保持会场安静。
光电信息产业正不断提升，5G 技术、人工智能与高端装备、健康医药、新能源与新材料等高新技术获得优先发展，资金、人才、信息、技术以前所未有的速度云集而来。那些你以为熟悉的，正在日新月异；那些你以为平常的，正在迭代升级。
主人您好，打开烟机，烟机已打开。
这里最看重诚信、稳健和实干精神，这里同样欣赏气魄、创新和理想主义。中山欢迎您拥抱大湾区，共谋大发展，共赢大时代。乘势而上，重振虎威，湾区枢纽，精品中山。
Honorable leaders, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. On this fine day of thriving springtime in South China, welcome to all to Zhongshan, hometown of Dr. Sun Yat-sen, and to the Zhongshan Hong Kong Health and Medical Industry Forum. I'm your host, Liu Zheng. Now, this event is to implement the GBA development program and organized by Zhongshan Health Base Group and the GBA Hong Kong Center. And this forum is being live streamed to the world over internet with live translation. You are able to access this event through mobile devices. It's great to be with you at this forum and to look into the future. Allow me to introduce you the VIP guests present today. They are Mr. Liang Chenying, Chairman of National Committee of CPPCC. Mr. Ko Wing-man, former Secretary of Food and Medicine of Hong Kong SAR. Mr. Raymond Yip, former Vice President of Hong Kong Trade Development Council. Mr. Liu Shaohai, Dean of Hong Kong Medical Administration College. Madam Wu Wenhui, Chief Representative of South China of Hong Kong TDC. Mr. Wang Shimin, Chairman of Macau Qiugong Medical Company. Vice President of Chinese Medical Research Institute of Macau University and Deputy Director of Controllability Research Center of State Key Lab, Mr. Li Peng. Madam Zhong Xiuli. Guangdong, Mr. Ba Yu, Vice Chairman of Guangdong CPBCC. Mr. Li Jia, Director of Shanghai Institute of Material Medical, Chinese Academy of Science. Mr. Yan Zhen, Deputy Director of Guangdong Drug Administration. Mr. Qiao Liang, Party Committee Member, Deputy General Manager and General Counsel of Guangdong Namyu Group. Founder, Chairwoman, President, CEO of Akiso Bio Company, Madam Xia Yu. Director of China Foreign Investment Association, Mr. Xu Zhi. Also present today, the membership and the leadership of the city, Mr. Lai Zehua, Secretary of CPC Zhongshan Municipal Committee. Deputy Secretary of CPC Zhongshan Municipal Committee and Mayor of Zhongshan, Mr. Wei Weihan. Chairman of Zhongshan CPPCC, Mr. Tang Ying. Mr. Chen Wenfeng, Deputy Secretary of the Standing Committee of the CPC Municipal Committee, and also Mr. Li Changchun, Standing Committee Member and Secretary General of CPC Zhongshan Municipal Committee, Mr. Feng Yurong, Deputy Director of Standing Committee of Zhongshan Municipal People's Congress, Madam Xu Xiaoli, Vice Mayor of Zhongshan, Mr. Lei Yuelong, Vice Mayor of Zhongshan. Mr. He Cancheng, Vice Chairman of Zhongshan CPBCC. Mr. Li Jun, Secretary General of Zhongshan Municipal Government. And also joining us by video recording, we're going to hear from Chairman of Pura Farm Hong Kong, Mr. Chen Yuling, and Mr. Liang Shiming, JP, and former President of Hong Kong Dental Association. Now give the floor to Mr. Lai Zehua, Secretary of CPC Zhongshan Municipal Committee. Honorable Vice Chairman, Mr. Liang Chanying, ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, good afternoon. I'm delighted to meet you here at the hometown of a great man at the bayside of Lingting Ocean, and to talk about development and the future plans for our cooperation. On behalf of Zhongshan Municipal Government and Party Committee, I'd like to extend our warmest welcome to all the guests and leaders present at today's conference. I'd like to extend our sincere gratitude and appreciation for your long-standing support and interest to Zhongshan. As pointed out by Secretary General Xi Jinping, health is the most important metrics to measure happiness in life. And Zhongshan, being a fertile line for innovation and startup, we place humans' life and health at the center of what we do. And the health and medical industry has a vast potential and a great future ahead. Now, the favorable policy of national agenda is injecting an even more robust momentum for growth. It is the best time to develop health and medical industry. And also in the policy address and the Healthy China Initiative, the 14th Five-Year Plan, and the 2030 vision is now guiding us to develop a healthy China, and the GBA development outline specifically set out to promote Zhongshan to develop innovation on biomedical technology. And this is actually promoting us with ample driver in driving these health industries. The dual zone opportunity is bringing great potential for future, as Party Secretary Xi Jinping is strategizing, deploying, and promoting the GBA, as well as the Shenzhen pilot zone, being a major strategy to place a favorable condition for us, because Hong Kong and Zhongshan are geographically adjacent, and there is a lot of chemistry for the two cities to work together, unleashing powerful energy and forming win-win results. The robust industry foundation is set for a greater development in the future. The Zhongshan's health and medical industry has unique advantage in the GBA. We have among the earliest national health technology industry base, the South China Modern TCM Town, Sino-Germany Biomedicine Industry Park, Sino-Swiss Industrial Park, and also the Shanghai Pharmaceutical Research Institute of the CAS, and some other high-end platform. And we have also over 300 excellent enterprises such as the United Laboratories and the Kiso Bio company. And we are looking at a 10 billion type of industry cluster on the rise. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, the world trend is guiding us forward. We look forward to having you to work with us in Zhongshan to set sail in the new blue ocean of health and industry. We are making an endeavor to deliver the best quality of life in the city. Regardless where you're from, you're going to find yourself in a favorable place to start a business in Zhongshan. We're building 7 major industry platforms and align resources and opportunities in Hong Kong. And we're going to achieve better policies and pilot initiatives. We are investing 150 billion in aligning transportation and to achieve 1 hour commuting time with major Pearl River Delta cities, so that you are in the best position to embrace the GBA and to access the world. We are also dedicated in developing the best industry clusters and also the high-end talents innovation clusters, so that the latest technology and outputs in health industry can be translated in Zhongshan, so that we can tap into these clusters for ever-increasing strength. We are dedicated in providing the best fertile land for startups We work with over 60 institutions and researchers and academia in the country for the industry, academic, and research collaboration. We have various laboratories and research centers to accelerate the growth of business. And we offer an open and inclusive market environment to promote fair competitions. As long as the seed is of the highest quality, the seed will thrive and be fruitful in Zhongshan. Ladies and gentlemen, wealth is generated from intelligence, and health is the basis for our future. And I sincerely hope that all the experts will help us to provide your insights to Zhongshan, and I welcome all the entrepreneurs to get involved in building our health and medicine industry. And I hope we can work together for mutual wins. Zhongshan will spare no efforts in helping you to start up, invest in Zhongshan, and settle down and to provide high-quality services so that you can live and work in Zhongshan with peace of mind, set your business down, and to work together for even a brilliant and glorious future. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lai, for your kind words. We are honored to have Vice Chairman of National Committee of CPPCC, Mr. C.Y. Leung. And Mr. Leung has come and visited Zhongshan multiple times since reform and opening up, and he has witnessed the great development of Zhongshan. He has an ardent friend of Zhongshan, and this forum was taking place with his personal promotion. Now, please welcome Mr. Leung Chen-ying for a keynote presentation. Secretary Lai, Mayor Wei, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm very pleased to join you here at the Zhongshan Hong Kong Health Medicine Industry Forum, together with our experts and all walks of life from Hong Kong health industry, so that we can jointly explore new collaboration in new area, to jointly explore and develop new technology and trading relations so that we can tap into the opportunities in the GBA area.
Hong Kong is a special administration zone in China, and they perform multiple different functions, and it's not only evolving and have a multiple new sites. In 2018, November, President Xi Jinping has delivered a keynote speech when he paid a visit to Hong Kong and also celebrated a special event with all kinds of the works of life. We have special confirmed the role played by Hong Kong and Macau commemorates, such as they have played important bridge function for each both parties. And also President Xi Jinping has further mentioned during the reform process, Hong Kong and Macau has played a very important role, not only due to their geological position, but also they have performed an irreplaceable role. According to President Xi Jinping, we should give full play and also say accurately about the dominating role played by Hong Kong and Macau, especially in the reform and opening areas. We want to support Hong Kong and Macau to see the new opportunity and also to cherish and nurture their new advantage and contribute in a new way. So in this aspect, President Xi Jinping has also raised hopes for the Hong Kong and Macau area, that is, to more proactively support the all-around opening reforms and also to fit themselves into a development pattern and also to take active moves in this kind of the governance practice and also to support and facilitate the communication and exchange in the international stage. I think it's not only a comprehensive way, but also quite insightful. Well, right now we have started the 14th five-year plan and also the 2035 long-term visions. I think it has mentioned the functions and also the advantage played by Hong Kong in multiple ways, such as we want to help Hong Kong to improve its role in the national finance and also the sea transportation and trade center and also the international hub for transportation. We want to help Hong Kong to become the heavy seat not only for those IPR but also for the trades. So just now has mentioned a lot of new function of Hong Kong. I think right now we give them some new function, new connotation. All those things should be a good reference for the industry, not only in Hong Kong but also in Zhongshan. Both parties should learn something from President Xi Jinping's speech. We need to know it deeply, but also seize the opportunity in an accurate way. There are a lot of new areas we should reach out to each other for collaboration. Now let me give an example. So Hong Kong is a key trade center. And so the related logistics has become the largest GDP contributor in Hong Kong. But for a lot of the goods purchased by Hong Kong, are not something they need. But for the goods they sold out to other areas, are not produced in Hong Kong. So a lot of these goods go in and go out of the Hong Kong port. They want to go through the Hong Kong ports or Hong Kong airports. So the function of international trade means they're going to help all the buyers around the world to find the most cost-effective goods, and also for the suppliers, for them to find the best markets and potential buyers. Hong Kong got plenty of the small-scale importer and exporter. They can utilize these platforms in a flexible way to offer the service and product Zhongshan need, and also to find the best way to support this whole industry and whole chain. So this way you can see we have got the Hong Kong trade and the related parties. They have come here, and we sincerely wish in the future we can provide it the service they need, and also for the IPR and also the other trades sections. We firmly believe Hong Kong can provide specific support, such as for the IPR registration and legal protection, and also some trade service promote. And we believe that for some of the IPR related with international trade, it's so that one should not only perform the role, but also can be used as a useful reference for the futures. So we can give full play to each other's advantage. Hong Kong right now should not only in a deep way to collaborate it with the Zhongshan, and also to introduce it a lot of the new role played by the Hong Kong areas. And meanwhile, Zhongshan's experience should also be useful to Hong Kong. So in this way, you can see this will become like the super liaison for the both parties, and through all those platforms, both parties can reach out to the domestic market and also the abroad market alike. We can expand our collaboration area and also the collaboration efficiency. Well, right now we are in the 14th 5-year plan. This is the first year, and right now Zhongshan has held the Zhongshan Hong Kong Forum of the health medicine industry. I think this is the best timing. Not only we can use this opportunity to facilitate the collaboration in both the parties, but also can give us a lot of insight and inspirations in the GBA areas. And I would like to send my sincere congratulations and wish all the representatives from the both parties through today's forum, we can build a lasting collaboration ties. And now I would like to wish this forum a full success and everyone enjoy good health and also a prosperous career. Thank you. Thank you for Mr. Liang for your wonderful speech. Now I would like to move on to the next speaker to invite Mr. Wei Weihan to join us on stage and give us introduction to the medicine industry's development in Zhongshan. Distinguished Mr. Liang Zhenying and also the other guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. We'd like to welcome all the guests, the mainland alike, and also in Hong Kong and the other different areas, because we know right now you're all gathered in the Zhongshan Hong Kong Forum of the health and the medicine industry, and to exchange our ideas in both the parties, and to explore our collaboration prospect in the future. And now, please allow me to give you some introduction to the Zhongshan municipal government and also the latest medicine industry development. At the very beginning of reform opening up, Zhongshan already regarded the health industry as a strategic focus and sees the development opportunity. And after so many years, right now, We already gathered the innovation element and have established full-ready industry chains. And right now, we have get a lot of titles such as the National Innovating Clusters and also the pilot ground for the new generation industrialization. And we even have get titled at the top 10 biomedicine parks. And by the end of 2020, our health industry has already seen the 461 in the health industry, and 5 has already. And right now, the biomedicine industry in Zhongshan has enjoyed a lot of advantage. And now you can see in the following slides. So first, we have enjoyed the solid foundations, so which are going to provide strong momentums. Speaking about platform, as early as 1994, Zhongshan has already get awards from the Ministry of Science, so that we can build the Zhongshan and the National Health and the Science Foundations. And these are one of the 2 national level biomedicine based. One is in Shanghai, Zhangjiang, the other is in Zhongshan. So on the basis of all the resources we have built, like the South China model, modern TCM cities, and also the China, Germany, biomedicine industrial park, etc. And through these platforms, we have pulled together excellent resources from home and abroad, and also generated strong industry cluster effect. And also speaking about the layout, we have not only get the pharmacy and the medical apparatus and the medical information, healthy food, cosmetic information of the medicine industry, etc. And we also have nurtured leading and dominating enterprises along the journeys. Speaking about the pharmacy, we have not only get Novus and also the foreign from the Swiss and the Ecoso, and also the other famous company that enjoy the sound reputation from home and abroad. And speaking about the medical apparatus, we have also get the DBT, who is famous for the 3D digital breast scanning devices, which has been fully developed by themselves, and also the Arcadis Genomics, and also for the NBC, Mesolentum, and also the other famous players in the health and medicine industry. Speaking about segmented industry, we continue to forge ahead. And second, right now we have got really sound industry ecological system, and so that we can provide the support to all different chains. Currently, Zhongshan has got a comprehensive system, not only has covers the pilot grounds, development and the testing, and also the result conversion. So speaking about the R&D, we have reached out to CES and also the Hong Kong University and also the other famous R&D centers to enjoy the long-term collaboration, so that we can build a high-end innovation platform together. And for the CES, and the Medical Institute, and also the Hong Kong University's Zhongshan Biomedicine Innovation Platform, etc. By reaching out to these parties, we have greatly improved our innovative drug R&D strengths. Speaking about the pilot ground, we have built not only the tester ground for the preparation, but also the other different forms, and also for the South China new drug testing fields. According to a different standard, we have built the workshop and also speed up the national standard biomedicine innovation type CMC and also CMO platforms. We want to focus on the systematic building for those medical manufacturing. And also speaking about the examination and testing, we have introduced but also established our own, the Zhongshan Lab of the Guangdong Drug Testing Labs, and also for the Guangdong Medical Apparatus Testing Center Zhongshan Branch, and also for the Guangdong Province Cosmetic Product Testing. So last year, for the Chinese examination and also the Hong Kong research labs, it has also taken root in Zhongshan, so that later we're going to provide you with a more accessible, convenient testing service covering the food, cosmetic, and also chemical products and the hazardous materials. Speaking about the result transformation, conversion, we have also established such as the makerspace, incubator, accelerator, and also the other different service. It's like all-in-one. And apart from the city level, town level, we have introduced other different capital such as basic capital and the other social capital in this area so that we can incubate such as EcoSoBio and Synergy Genomic company which enjoy the strong growth potential. Third, right now we have enjoyed a really good and facilitating innovating environment so that we can lay the solid foundation for all those industry. Speaking about the transportation, we're located in a heartland in these areas. We are adjacent to Hong Kong, Macau, and Guangzhou, Shenzhen, and we get easy access to the Qianhai, Nansha, Hengjing areas. And within the 90 kilometers, we got 5 airports, 4 deep sea ports, and also for the Shenzhen, Zhongshan channels, and also the other different railway, etc. After all these constructions, starting from Zhongshan, within 1 hour, half hour, you can reach to the Guangzhou and Shenzhen. And within 1 hour, you can reach all the major cities in the GBA areas. This will become a really important transportation hub in the western part of the GBA area. Speaking about policy, we have publish all kind of the action plan and also the other strong policy. So from the early stage, the subsidy and also the financing support to some fixed asset supporting investment and also some transitional subsidy for the rental areas and also to the purchase of the key equipment, etc. We have got all kinds of service to support the enterprises. Speaking about exchange communication, we have also established the influential communication brand. For 15 years in a row, we have held the Health and Development Zhongshan Forum, and also for the 12 years in a row, we have held the national event such as the Wu Jieping medical awarding ceremony, so that through all those measures we can build the bridge for the communication and the innovation. Recently, Zhongshan has embraced a great development opportunity that is double zone driving of the engines. So speaking about the outline development for the Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau, Greater Bay areas, and during the 14 5-year plan, Guangdong province are going to give great focus to the strategic industry representing biomedicine and the medical industry. You can see that right now we have enjoyed the vast potential and great prospect. We'd like to seize a great opportunity and fix up our short place and give full play to our strong points.
Now, first of all, we are building a major platform with a high standard so that we can provide greater space for clusters and industries. We are building 7 major functional platforms to form a new strength for Zhongshan's innovation. Now, we are involving the GBA. We have the Cuiheng New Zone, as well as the main engines of innovation, which is the torch development zones. These 2 major platforms are deploying health and bioindustry from top-level design, land resources, physical funding. We're providing favorable support so that the industry cluster can have a stronger momentum and to elevate the size and clusterization of health in medical industries. We're also executing the innovation-driven strategy to drive the industry to a higher end. On the one hand, we are accelerating the developing innovative platforms such as the CAS Innovative Drug Institute and Zhongshan Research Institute. We're also bringing the top-level talents and teams. We work with the Southern University of Medicine and other universities to develop the Greater Bay Area Pharmaceutical and Pharmacology Postgraduate Research Center to improve our innovative capabilities. And also, we are building this Zhongshan Research Institute of the CAS Pharmaceutical Innovation Research Center, as well as the Cuiheng New Zone International Medical Town, so that we are building this platform to further enhance our capability of innovative resources. Now, we're also optimizing our governance services to provide a market-oriented, rule of law, and international business environment. And we are, combining effective market and effective governance services so that we do not interfere with the business, but we respond to business demands and requirements. We are, for example, in this year, we are trying to tackle some of the issues in improving the business environment and, releasing the optimization measures in improving Zhongshan's business environment, and also we are informing on a range of systems, making sure those projects can be leveraged and implemented. And also, we are launching policies that help the industry, such as helping the translation of innovative drugs, so that we can provide an environment for business that's free, convenient, and fair. We're also optimizing the new environment for reform opening up. We are going to make use of the Hong Kong and Zhongshan's health industry collaboration to fully tap into this geographical advantage and also the opportunity of building a drug import port so that we can provide domestic production side for the license holder of Hong Kong Macau drugs to set up the Hong Kong drug, Hong Kong medical device integrated distribution center and expanding the market access from Hong Kong medical industry. We're going to make use of Hong Kong International Trading Port, medical institutions, and cosmetic brands and other resources to develop the GBA biomedicine logistic and distribution center and a bonded trading area for Zhongshan biomedicine import products and Guangdong Hong Kong joint venture high-end medical institutions and Zhongshan cosmetics and regional branding so that we can drive the Zhongshan biomedicine industry to become international-oriented, moving into the high-end and building our strong brand. Ladies and gentlemen, at this new juncture of a new area with the new major opportunity of GBA behind us, and we are now at a new round of golden window of opportunity. We are convinced that collaboration is the future trend and mutual win is our mutual goal, and I sincerely hope that all the entrepreneurs can come to Zhongshan for collaboration. We'll provide the best supporting policies, the best services, and provide a favorable entrepreneurial environment so that we can share the future together. In the end, I wish you all great health and best of luck in every endeavor. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Wei, for your introduction. Now, in order to promote the medical device supervisory innovation in the GBA, 8 ministry has jointly released the working plan for the GBA medical devices supervisory innovation and development. We're now going to hear from Deputy Director Mr. Yan Zheng from Guangdong Drug Administration to give us some interpretation on this new working plan. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm going to take you through the working plan on the supervisory innovation on drug and medical devices in GBA. I'm going to talk about 3 parts. I'll begin with the background. The background is set based on the overall planning and outline for the GBA is one segment of this GBA planning. We need to start from understanding how GBA was being planned. It was driven, strategized, and promoted by Party Secretary General Mr. Xi Jinping. I believe this is part of a national strategy, and it's also has a lot to do with the welfare of the people in Guangdong, Hong Kong, and Macau. Within this outline planning of GBA, it set out to address 3 major areas. First of all, innovation-driven and led by reform. Secondly, sharing, development, improving livelihoods. And thirdly, one country, 2 system, and the practice according to the law. Particularly in one country, 2 system, we talk about one country, 2 system, 3 jurisdictions. We have 3 legal systems that are different, and we have 3 duty areas involved. Therefore, in the Greater Bay Area, if you compare with the Yangtze River Delta, Beijing, Tianjin, Hebei, those are different. In Yangtze River Delta, we have 4 provinces and 2 municipality and 1 province in Beijing, Tianjin, Hebei, but they are in the same policy framework. But in the Greater Bay Area, we have 1 country, 3 jurisdictions, 3 policies areas. So we need to find way to achieve connectivity, which call for greater wisdom to be leveraged. And we have 4 major missions to undertake. First of all, we're going to develop an international innovation center to develop a platform, a carrier for high-level innovation. This is a major mission. The second mission is to develop and strengthen strategic emerging industries, biomedicine, medical devices, pharmaceuticals. Those are exactly one of those strategic emerging industries. The third mission is to develop a high-quality living circle that are highly livable, and which is great for business and tourism. You know, in the world, there are 4 major Bay Areas. There are 2 in the US, 1 in Japan, and the other is in China, which is the GBA. The fourth mission they will be in charge is to jointly develop a collaborative and development platform for Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau to promote deep demonstration of Zhuhai, Hengqin in this GBA. So there are 4 areas that are relevant and pertinent to us. I will skip the details for that. Let me start by talking about the 3 steps of carrying out this outline program. First of all, setting down the foundation. Secondly, by next year in 2022, we're going to see the basic emergence of GBA into a highly energetic, innovative, with optimized industry structure, with free flows of capital goods, and also with also ecologically beautiful world-class Bay Area and world-class city cluster framework. And also by 2035, GBA is going to be fully developed into a world-class Bay Area that's great for living, business, and tourism. Now, specifically for us, when it comes to medicine and medical devices, there has been a plan that has been launched by 8 ministries, which has to do with pharmaceuticals and medical devices. There are 6 major missions. Now, we are here at the forum at Zhongshan. 1 mission out of the 6 is dedicated for Zhongshan. So 1 is specifically commissioned and assigned to Zhongshan, which is unique to us. That mission is among the 9 cities of GBA, some of the designated medical institutions, for some of the pharmaceuticals that are in urgent need in clinical practice, and those that has been launched and licensed in Hong Kong, Macau. The change is now, what used to be approval by NMPA is now being delegated to Guangdong provincial government, which is authorized and mandated by State Council. So it has to be a joint venture or solely owned hospitals. In Zhongshan, we have Chenxinhan Hospital, which is qualified for that designation. So for any drugs that are in urgent clinical needs, they can be now applied in some of these medical institutions that are qualified. Secondly, medical devices. The same. Those medical devices that are urgently needed in clinical practice, as long as it's not available in mainland China, but it's already licensed in Hong Kong, Macau, so by way of collaboration, by way of investment, by way of joint venture, the medical institutions in Hong Kong are going to be eligible of applying those medical devices. So the first is about drugs, the second is about devices. The same logic apply. Chenxinhai Hospital in Xiaolan and Zhongshan are qualified to meet this criteria. Of course, we hope that more hospitals will be qualified for that. The third mission, in the Greater Bay Area, we are setting up the Drug and Medical Devices Assessment and Inspection Subcenter. It is now being settled down in the Futian district of Shenzhen, and also the Heta area just next to Hong Kong is now being commissioned and in operation now. So the biggest strength of that is for the reform of assessment approval. The reform is helping some of these businesses, at least in terms of assessment and approval and licensing and instruction and inspection. Everything is being accelerated. So this is something of high interest to all of you. 2 of the sub-centers is now being set up in Guangdong, which cover GBA, which cover Guangdong province, and covering the neighboring provinces. So it's really around the 9 cities in the GBA area. The 4th mission is to support Hengqin, where we have the TCM industry park to develop the Chinese medicine industry. There are 3 key components to it. First of all, we need to simplify and streamline the Chinese patent drugs when it comes to registration approval. Right now, in Hong Kong and Macau, when they are being manufactured and licensed, those approval process has been simplified, where they can be quickly accelerated to be introduced to mainland China for marketing. Secondly, the innovation platform. Specifically, there's setting up a new incubation center for TCM product to encourage the TCM industries to set up their formulations, as well as TCM medical devices, where they can settle down for R&D and manufacturing. Now, we have Yueao TCM Formulation Center, where they already have their own product being launched in the market. So in Zhuhai, there is a Chinese and Western integrated hospital. It's now, we are looking at the 2nd center, which is in collaboration with Hong Kong, which is the Guangdong and Hong Kong Formulation Center, which is to be sited in Guangming district of Shenzhen. The Guangdong and Macau Center has been set up already. The 2nd is between Guangdong and Hong Kong, which is going to be sited in Guangming of Shenzhen for the 2nd center.
The 3rd is the policy study, because right now for a lot of companies that are already been listed according to the NMPA, according to the South China, we have given them some approval, which not only has been revised by the Provincial Institute in Guangdong, but also in the Hengqin Policy Study Institutes. The main mission is to drive forward the TCM standardization, modernization, and internationalization process. So that for the TCM, we're going to go global, give them some rules to follow. The 5th mission is also of great concern of everyone, that is in the GBA area. We need to help those drug holders and registration policy reform for the medical devices. According to the drug laws, we already published all those new latest revision about those holders. In the past, it's like the pilot stage, but right now, we got 2 months in short that we're going to have this kind of medical device registration laws. Here, what we want to see is that for the companies in Hong Kong and Macau, this will become a favorable policy, which means for companies, if you already got listed in Hong Kong or Macau, during this period, you can come to the mainland areas as long as you are qualified. You can reach out to those companies and assign them to do this kind of manufacturing process for you. And also, there's one thing we want to break. That is not only about the designated manufacturing, but you can sell those goods in mainland China. We can crack the bottleneck through this regulation. But there's one condition you need to follow first. That is for Hong Kong Macau company. When they designated or there's a legal person to do this work, you can only find them in the GBA and do the manufacturing in the limited area, which means the 9 cities. You cannot go beyond the GBA, only the 9 cities and 2 districts in the GBA areas. This is a precondition you need to follow. And later, I'm going to give you more examples and some specific cases. And mission 6 is like a Zhongshan specific. That is the Shekou ports. Right now, we are revising all this related information. For all the application material has already been ready. We are waiting for national government to give us approval, and then we can start the work for real. As long as we can set all these ports, you can see that drugs can be imported through this port. Right now, the Guangdong province already gets 3 related ports, 3 in Guangzhou, 1 in Shenzhen, and the other in Zhuhai. If Zhongshan also get approved, you can see we have added 1 more in the total area, which will be quite preferential for the Zhongshan area. Generally speaking, the overall goals is that right now we got 6 favorable news. In the end, we got 6 specific goals. The first goal that we want to build is to make sure the medical devices and the medical drug can be used in mainland China, and we need to get a policy to get the process. And second is like we want to make sure we can provide the high-end resources for the Hong Kong and of the Hong Kong Macau resources to come to the mainland China. And also the other things, we want to have this kind of connecting mechanism so that all the different resources can be combined thanks to those policies. The fourth goal is in a stable and steady way to make sure the TCM for external use will be approved. And also this kind of drug can be manufactured in the GBA area and started the pilot stage. And the fifth is that we need to get the technology supporting process so that we can facilitate the fast development in the GBA area. The sixth is like with the great international and the geological advantage, we need to drive forward the modernization, internationalization, and standardization of the TCM. So you can see those innovating policy need to fulfill the 6 goals. So by the end of 2035, we need to finish our systematic system for the GBK area and provide convenient and accessible service and product for all these citizens in the GBA, and also to build the Highland innovating platform, and also to fulfill the medical industry's deep penetration in those areas, and also to update the manufacturing process, and also further improve ourselves to be a livable and also the developable area as a level 1 or the class 1 Bay Area. So this is a general goal by the end of 2035. So now let's see some latest update. Right now, we already get some plans from the 8 government institute, and also we got 1 more from the Zhongshan government. So you can see right now we have spread all those work plans to the 9 different cities so that we can have the specific implementations. And we also get some more detailed work plans. We want to get a synergetic mechanism that has been led by national government, supported by provincial government, such as the Drug Administration of the Guangdong Province and also the health departments in Hong Kong, Macau, so that by joining hands together, 3 parties can pool the strengths together and also make the best work. And also Hong Kong, Macau has given the great support. They have set dedicated teams to have those synergetic workforce, so that we can also implement it all the drug innovation plan. There's 1 more thing we'd like to mention. So just now I has mentioned the medical apparatus and also the drugs. So first we have this pilot phase in the Shenzhen Hospital, Hong Kong University. All this work has already started. And also the first draft of the Chapter 1 related policy has also been issued, such as we are going to start in the national purchase, and later all those medical products and devices will be used in the Shenzhen Hospital, Hong Kong University. Right now, all this work are in process. We wish in the future more hospitals in the 9 cities. Especially if you are qualified, you can proactively apply for the provincial drug administration. And more drug in desperate need will be applied and offered to the qualified hospital, which will be a favorable news for all the patients around China and also patients in Hong Kong and Macau. And for the citizens in those two cities, you don't need to go back to their own cities to receive the treatment. They can receive therapy even in the mainland areas. And also speaking about payment and the drug purchase, we need to get out the facilitating policy. Right now, for the supported policy has all in place. So you can apply for the related institutes. And we also get the 6 missions set out by national government. We need to get 11 supporting policy so that the 6 missions set out by national government will be put in real practice. So that's why for each city, we need to get a lot of mechanism and policy to guarantee the safety and effectiveness of those policies. Generally speaking, just now as mentioned, in Hengjing area and the hospital preparation institutes, they already set out the related works. And also for the support office in Zhongshan, they are waiting for their material to be approved. In a nutshell, once all this policy has been put in place, I believe this year so by the end of June, we can finish all those pilot ground works in the Shenzhen Hospital, Hong Kong University. After you finish that, we can promote them into other cities. We suggest other cities to start the preparation in early stage rather than wait for those pilot ground to finish. And especially for the external use of TCM, we have reached out to the related parties in Hong Kong and Macau. We set out the final stage that is 5 years at least. Because for those kind of time points, of course, we got a 5-year, 10-year, 20-year, or even 30-year. But after we have discussed with two parties, we believe at least a 5-year will be a good standard. So we can see this is a time point. As long as this drug has been listed in Hong Kong and Macau for 5 years, at least they can be introduced in mainland China. The 5th point we have mentioned, that is the licensor holders and also the operators of medical devices, they all get their own demand and requirements. I want to mention every detail here, but right now we have reached out to the related parties so that for the Hong Kong companies, they will enjoy the convenient condition to start the process in Hong Kong. So in the past, perhaps some ingredients are local to the Hong Kong area. But if you want to move the manufacturing process to mainland China, you need to solve the transportation of ingredient first. Because right now we have a dialogue with a customer of different cities so that the manufacturing process in Hong Kong will not be interrupted, local conditions. In reality, I think that the experience in Hong Kong are going to provide a new reference for the different medical reforms in differentiated cities, and also this will become a great pilot ground for those two areas. So in Hong Kong, we have used the dual track medical service, that is one is public, the other is the private operation, so that we can cater to the different cities' medical level requirements. And so for the high-end medical service, it has enjoyed the good and sound reputation in the national stage. For the medical service evaluated in Hong Kong, has not only enjoyed a good design in a public hospital, Hong Kong's medical management experience will become a good reference for a lot of other parties. And speaking about the private operation, we can open this high-end medical resources to enter the market in Zhongshan. To start with, for the public medical department, I think their financing pattern and also the governance of the medical hospital will not only for the benefits of the public welfare, and they will not be bothered by the capitalization and also resources absence. So that's why in a micro levels, we have got a really clear accountability system. We can make sure the public resources will be used in a professional way, and also in the micro level, through the salary system, medical service administration system, and talent training, and also the other systems. We can use all the different ways to guide the conduct of the medical staff to make sure the public welfare will be guaranteed, and also with a high efficiency.
Definitely, the Hong Kong medical system practice the tier diagnosis and treatment system, which is the concept of general practice first, followed by specialists. This is also one of the goals in the mainland China's medical reform, as I have observed that many Hong Kong medical institutions are now trying to get into the mainland market. They have a mature experience of practicing management and administration. Particularly, I have noticed the Shenzhen Hospital Hong Kong U, they have been reforming and innovating how domestic public hospitals are managed. For example, providing Hong Kong style medical experience with some results. However, in mainland China, the population has got used to relying on traditional public health care. They have little awareness of general practitioners, and they are unfamiliar with this process, so that is a barrier. Thirdly, to supplement and shoulder the burden of public health care and also to expand the resources supplied to the society, Hong Kong has encouraged the public and private forces to get involved. The private medical services in Hong Kong has a very clear position, role, and assignment of tasks in providing different medical and healthcare experiences to the population. In the meantime, Hong Kong SDR government has focused a lot in how the private sector in supporting the public sector. They have adopted multi-way of management. First of all, providing the private sector space to develop their market. They will not be suppressed due to the support from the government to the public system. Secondly, they are being regulated by their discipline and by their roles. Different parties are getting involved, and medical activity are subject to different laws and regulations. Thirdly, we provide and reinforce policy guidance, reforming the healthcare insurance system and social welfare system. For example, promoting the voluntary healthcare plan and the elderly medical coupon, so that the private sector can play a bigger role. In recent years, the mainland China's private sector industry of healthcare has been fast growing. However, in terms of the market awareness and quality assurance, is still lagging behind compared with the public healthcare institutions. I have noticed that the Hong Kong commercial healthcare institutions are now developing into the mainland China. Particularly, they are reaching out to the Greater Bay Area cities. To a certain degree, this has helped with the diversification of the private sector in healthcare in the mainland. But because there is a different regulatory system for the healthcare and medicals and pharmaceuticals between mainland China and Hong Kong, the Hong Kong institutions are still facing challenges when they try to access the mainland market when it comes to business environment, business model, and the difference of regulatory and management model. And also the differences of Hong Kong healthcare and mainland healthcare is a very large extent, in the way how drugs are being used. And in current way, the Hong Kong healthcare institutions, participants, they have yet to be able to use any drug that has been licensed in Hong Kong but not yet registered with NMPA. Now, recently, there has been a breakthrough policy that has been launched. The Hong Kong Food and Health Bureau is in contact with the mainland authorities and competent authorities for arrangements. The Shenzhen Hospital of Hong Kong U is now being designated as a pilot, which allow the use of any drugs and commonly used medical devices that has been registered and licensed in Hong Kong for these qualified hospitals, for example, the Chengxing Hospital in Xiaolan. This innovative policy is providing facilitation to the healthcare providers and the users, and also in a way that helps to improve the healthcare standard in the GBA. Now, based on the need for the general healthcare development, I will recommend and suggest that Zhongshan designate a certain region, designate certain healthcare institutions to adopt some pilot measures for the cross-border collaboration. For example, relaxing further the access criteria and the accreditation of the qualification of physicians for the doctors to practice the use of drugs, and also the connectivity and sharing of healthcare data. We can take those pilot steps to achieve the sharing of resources and advantage between Shenzhen and Hong Kong, so that we can jointly build a quality life circle and for the welfare. Now, in terms of R&D, Hong Kong has great advantage in terms of international standard, platform incubation, talents, and capital. And we are seeing a vibrant biochemical ecosystem. For example, the biotechnology clinical studies is of the highest standard in the world. Hong Kong have one of the best universities where we have providing healthcare research clinical studies, and in recent years we are being acknowledged by the top medical journals in the world. Hong Kong is also the first city in the world where the clinical test data are jointly and simultaneously accredited by the FDA in US, EMA in Europe, and CFDA in China, mainland China, for the drug registration, so that multiple pharmaceutical makers have chosen to work with Hong Kong U and Chinese University of Hong Kong with their medical faculties. Therefore, for seeking a mechanism of jointly develop and research biomedicine between Guangdong and Hong Kong, we could make GBA become a bridge between mainland China and international pharmaceutical listing criteria. Secondly, the Hong Kong SAR government has also focused a lot in attaching the importance to the biotechnology development in Hong Kong. We have set up over 460 projects in supporting biomedicine technologies, and we have provided a innovation platform in the Hong Kong Science Technology Park, where 150 biotechnology company has settled down. Last year, in the biotechnology program, has 6 startups, which is a new record. Clearly, the science park of Hong Kong is an ideal incubator where we provide various equipment, facility, instruments, and plans and programs, so that the biotechnology startups will have access to relevant data. For example, we have the Biotechnology Support Center, BSC, where we provide over 80 top-of-the-line sophisticated facility and technology devices, so that the startup can save the money investing on those equipment. As I understand, Zhongshan has been building a biomedicine innovation center together with Hong Kong University and Guangdong University of use these laboratory samples cross-border. Therefore, it is a case important to show how Hong Kong can help to improve the efficiency to assist the R&D development of medical products in GBA. In the future, we should continue to explore how to expand the scope of pilots and streamline the tax-exempt and other procedures and formalities. Fifthly, biomedical technology is sophisticated and innovative. Therefore, for its patents, trade secrets, technological know-how, confidentialities, and proprietary information has to be protected by the law. Otherwise, the competitiveness of biomedical enterprises will be significantly compromised. And also, there's going to be issues with the success hit rates and also the benefit sharing. In this regard, Hong Kong enjoy highly developed IP protection and law. We can protect their research output on biomedical research projects. Another key component of the ecosystem is the corporate financing and other financial services. Biomedicine is a high-risk industry, and it is somewhat difficult for business to find the right funding. Zhongshan has brought in the top 10 angel investors in China, and Zhongshan has launched the health industry equity investment funds, and also it is actually serving as a pre-stage financing for the medical industry, and also for the mature stage financing and late-stage exiting. So for medical projects, pharmaceutical projects also needs relevant financial services such as import-export financing, settlement, and forex, acquisition, merger, financial consolidation, and cross-border operation. In this area, Hong Kong enjoy a vibrant financial capital market, and also Hong Kong Stock Exchange has revised the listing rules in 2018, which allows the biomedical and biotechnology firms to be listed in the main board of Hong Kong EX for financing, particularly for those who are still loss-making. That measure has facilitated the mature biotech company investors for fundraising and exiting, which is improving on the financial needs throughout the whole life cycle of biotech companies. Data shown just last year, 14 biotech companies has come to Hong Kong for listing. They are not yet making profits, and they have reached proceeds in total of 40 billion Hong Kong dollars. Last year, the COVID-19 pandemic has driven up the medical demand. A lot of capital has gone in the biotech industry, which make Hong Kong the largest in Asia and second largest in the world in 2020 when it comes to the biotech financing center. This has proven the prospect of biomedicine. With the overlap of the Guangdong, Hong Kong with our advantage, we can support even better fundraising train, supporting a large number of costly R&D to promote the virtuous development of the industry. Hong Kong's local biotech ecosystem is now taking shape and is now expanding further. Based on the aforementioned Hong Kong advantage, on top of the development momentum in the GBA, this will help to drive the economy of scale and market development, and this will further accelerate the growth of R&D of medicine in Hong Kong and Guangdong. Last but not least, the COVID-19 pandemic is shifting into a new area. We both need to think about how to implement safe cross-border epidemic control measures. This is another important topic. The development of GBA dependent on the mobility of all the various elements. I believe this fight against the pandemic need to be relaxed but also tightened when needed, including various cross-border tourism, business, and freight, where there is various industry development guidelines that are industry-specific, tailored to different tiers, and based on mutual agreement of both sides. This effective implementation will be able to prevent, identify irregularities, and also will help the connectivity of medical records, electronic health codes for cross-border communication, which will facilitate the information flow between two areas. Thank you.
Thank you so much for Mr. Gao for his speech. Now let's move on to the second session of today's forum, that is the keynote speeches of our expert. Now first, let's give the floor to the director of the Shanghai Institute of Material Medical Chinese Academy of Science, Mr. Li Jia. He is going to give you a speech focused on the new drug innovation, the new core buildings. Now let's give the floor to Mr. Li Jia. Distinguished Mr. Liang Zhenxing and also Mr. Ze Hua, Secretary, and also the Mayor Wei. And now I feel so honored to give you a speech about the Zhongshan Hong Kong collaboration and also how to build the biomedicine engines. Now I'm going to give you a speech on the following 5 parts. To start with, I'm going to give you an introduction about how we implement the national strategy, which has been mentioned by the President Xi Jinping and also being personally deployed and also promoted. Just as several speakers before me has mentioned this important point, so that's why I won't give you more detail at current stage. So I think everyone have heard it a lot about how to implement the outline for the GBA areas. I think it will be quite strategic, have a great meaning of the strategic future development, and I'm going to give you a great guidance in this part. And we has mentioned that how to drive forward the Zhongshan's innovating powers in building the biomedicine industry. And also for provincial government in Guangdong, we has also come up with all kind of those strategies and also the policies and some specific details about this part. And among those documents, we has mentioned that for the CAS and also the Zhongshan Institute about the biomedicine should also be constructed along the phase. So you can see that right now we are setting out our specific location in this part. We need to not only give full play to the Guangzhou Shenzhen's power and to put together all those great resources and also to put together all those good resources in the GBA in Zhongshan area and also give support to Macau and also Zhuhai and other areas. And we want to also give some support to the drug and also technology conversion and also to support the drug innovation in these parts. Generally speaking, for the JBA biomedicine development, they're going to embrace a definitely new development window. Now I'm going to give you some introduction for the great importance of the new drug makings. So speaking about the new drug development, this will become an important part of a healthy China. It's a greater demand. And so from the 18th People's Congress to 19th People's Congress to some of the 5th session of the 19th People's Congress, we have mentioned that especially right now, we are in a new phases of people development, and the great need to guarantee people's health. It's not only part of the security of the national strategy and also the great demand for the long-term development. So only by satisfying this part can we give the great support to the other different development. We believe that new drug has become definitely urgent demand for the whole medicine industry from the whole world. You can see that the whole market value is like $1.1 trillion US, and for the top 15 drugs, you can see that we have got like a lot of the drugs being included in the 15 drugs. So which means the 50 drugs in this list has accounts for at least 30% of market share. So from the data alone, you can see that a lot of innovative drugs accounting for the majority, while for the other some drugs that just copy other patents, they can only take the small parts which cannot be taken seriously. And also for the top 10 manufacturers of the drug, the sales value has also exceeded 30%. They are like the 10 drug manufacturers, which contributed like the $30 billion US. Each of them has enjoyed the most important drug, which has become a great promoter for the new drug. Now let me give you some examples, such as the PD-1 antibody, and which has been sold even higher than stated. It's like that the $25 billion US, and therefore a lot of new drugs. The moment they have the launch market has even reached like the $9.3 billion US. You can see this is like a legend in this history, and also for the other company which has also contributed greatly to those kind of drug manufacturers. Now you can see this list. I think it's going to give you a lot of help, especially to understand the Chinese medicine industry. Right now, the market is in the fast rise. We only place second to the U.S. And for the per capita drug consumption and value and the total amount is only like 1/9 of the developed country, which means in the long run, with the more and more importance given to the health and drugs, we are going to have a greater demand for the biomedicine. And for our drug innovating power, right now we're still in the weak links. A lot of drugs that 95% have copied the other people's patents, we only got the 5%. They are totally developed by ourselves. And from the left chart, you can see for the top 10 sales of the different drugs, the top one is human globin drugs, and the second for the injections. So the market, the second is sodium chloride injection. So compared with other different parties, we still lag behind with other market players. This is only in a market sense. And so the right chart is about the 2019, the top 10 sales drugs. So just now I mentioned molecule antibodies, which has been sold like $19.17 billion, and for the other drugs has. So compared with the left chart, you can see we use a total different units. The left chart is RMB, while the right chart has been calculated in US dollars. So you can see there is a huge gap between Chinese market and overseas markets. And also right now for the biomedicine industry in China has also made a great headway. So how to understand this part? So in the past, in 2019 we got 12 new drugs, in the year before that 10, and in 2020 is 15 at least new drugs. They focus on new structure and innovation. So right now we have reached such a mature stage, such as the PD-1 and the 2 different antibodies. Right now they have the sales volume has exceeded $2 million, and also for the triple and also the other different molecule antibody drugs. So right now we rank the 7th, the 8th, 9th, and 10th in the listing numbers, and all the drugs, the market share did not exceed 1% around the whole world, which means if you you're the first in class and take a first move in this industry, we will definitely get like a lion's share of the market and also the dominating advantage. So that's why right now we have to change our track from the trend follower to the next stage. So right now, in the whole world, we're going to launch like the 15 different molecule drugs. China are going to account for at least 10 of them, which is like 20% increase, which means the next step will be more important. That means how to start innovating. That is a first in class. So right now for the China-Hong Kong biomedicine industry, what is the status quo? Just now, Mr. Wei Han has given you a lot of introduction about these pictures. And also we have learned the basic foundation and also the other information. So when we set out our office in Zhongshan, because we know that Zhongshan is famous for the good location, and also we know that in a very early stage we have set out our national health-based park together with Zhangjiang. So right now we get a lot of good market values, and the total GDP value is like 10 million RMB. But for the R&D, this is a weakling. So that's why we believe when we have our office in Zhongshan, we are going to complement each other's advantage. So you can see here, this is Zhongshan's one-stop service from the R&D to the manufacturing to the promotion and technology conversion. So this is in Hong Kong. Just now, Mr. Gao has also given some introduction to the industry in Hong Kong, such as what is the advantage of Hong Kong. So we know that in Hong Kong, they got good universities, really famous R&D capability, and also Hong Kong is got good hospital and system, the hospital system in place, and some good R&D mechanism. But meanwhile, Hong Kong have a small market, so which means for the biomedicine industry, has not enjoyed the full wing development. So this is kind of similar in mainland China. We did not get those R&D-oriented innovating enterprises. So from this point, I firmly believe that Hong Kong and mainland China should join hands together, complement each other's advantage, and join hands in this international competition. So just now, Mr. Gao have also given you some introductions, such as the 31 biomedicine listed company, and among them, so especially listed in the 18A. So just now, we already get 17 companies listed, and also for the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, this has also become the second largest biomedicine company listed in this stock exchange. We believe more and more companies are going to take their own move in these pictures. They won't put their sole focus on the quantity, but the value of their product. This will become focus of the next stage. For the Acosol Bio, when they got listed, I think the chairwoman of Acosol valued the 400 billion did not only represent the GDP or what kind of value or tax they pay, but the value they represented, which is an essential part of innovating of drugs. Now I'm going to give you some introduction to our progress in the past 2 years. So when we come to Zhongshan, we want to finish the 5 tasks. So first we need to get the sub-office. And the other is, so for the Material Medica Institute is really ancient one. We have established ourselves in 1943. So right now we are 89 years into operation. 40 drugs has been used in clinical trial. We have given birth to a lot of new drugs. A lot of drugs has been had a lot in the clinical trial, and which has international meanings. And I believe that right now we can build research institute with the same scale in this area and supported by the incubator and also technology platform, etc., which are going to be opened for the whole GBA area and also for the Zhongshan Academy. We want to, through this institute, to calculate to nurture a lot of talents which can give us a big support in this whole industry. So this is a goal we set out for the 2030. We want to get 100 teams. I believe that we're definitely going to exceed the total number because the GBA is so attractive for a lot of the experts, and we want to help with the conversion of the 50 technology, and at least half of them, that is 25, need to be used in clinical trial, and perhaps 1 or 2 are going to be listed, and we're going to also educate a lot of graduate students, and perhaps we can be approved as a Guangdong Provincial Research Lab. Right now, for our sub-office, has been approved as an important base, especially as one part of the state's key lab. So this is some temporary results. So I won't give you every detail in this part. So you can see there are some experts we have already recruited in our expert. So we are continuously to introduce the top-notch experts, such as the full-time professors from Harvard University, and also we have built all kinds of centers. We which the centers will also play a leading role along this journey. So you can see here, this is our the pharmacy university we want to build together with the Zhongshan government. We wish perhaps all those education resources will become the key resources used by this university, and also through these platforms we can also educate a lot of graduate students. And also we have built our investment fund to support the technology conversion. Right now the total value is like 1 billion RMB. So not a long time ago, the vice governor has paid a visit to our institute, which we already has made the gap all those investments. We have so the 7 project has been landing in these areas, and some has signed the contracts earlier this morning. Now you can see here. So in our pharmaceutical park, we already get transitional zone, which is in Cui Hong New District. And what we're constructing right now is 600,000 square kilometers, which has been used by this research institute. We have finished the construction in the phase. We believe that perhaps in the mid of next year we can move to this office, and this will become a research highland. We are also going to use this space to drive forward the local biomedicine development, such as the CMC, CMO. The service will be provided through this area, and so some from state key lab, and also for some compound Southern China key lab, and also something we mentioned yesterday, such as the peptide research center, that we are also all settled down in these places.
And also the primate and seed resources protection will also be cited in this industry park. Now, this is the public service platform. Our pharmaco safety assessment, pharmacokinetics, formulations, and animal center. Now, this platform is going to meet the demand for biotech industry in the GBA. Now, how do we build and develop a Zhongshan Hong Kong new drug development, new hardcore? Now, by calling it hardcore, it has to meet the demand of national strategy in biotech, biomedicine. Zhongshan Hong Kong, what can we do, respectively? Most importantly, we should start from imitating and moving into original development. The hardcore that we're building should represent where the national strategy is going, and represent the strength of GBA and represent the strength of Zhongshan Hong Kong. And we should achieve originality of science, which showcase Zhongshan's strength. So it's not just research, but also from strength, incubation, industrialization, accelerator is a whole train. So that was in 2019. We visited Hong Kong, and we decided to put this in Zhongshan. We went to Hong Kong, visited Hong Kong U, Hong Kong CU, and also visited the Hong Kong Technological Center. So we were talking about maybe CAS, Shanghai Institute of Medical Medica, can actually work with the Hong Kong universities, because Hong Kong is playing a role of international window, and there need to be a giant of the biomedical, biotechnical company, and going to Hong Kong to recruit talents. It goes a long way helping our cause. At the time, the Innovate Hong Kong has been very positive in this proposition. We work with the Hong Kong Technology University to apply for the joint lab, Hong Kong, Guangdong, Macau joint lab. We set up the innovative drug alliances, and also we have set up a GLP lab of the safety assessment in Hong Kong Science Park. And also, we are actively involved in developing a Hong Kong Innovation Research Institute of CAS. We hope to be the third force to get there and to work with the Hong Kong local universities to drive the biomedicine development. So for our expectation to Hong Kong is as follows. First of all, Hong Kong should be an area where we can see a collective innovative talents, because right now in China, our relation with the U.S. and with the U.S. and with the West, Hong Kong is becoming more and more important as a window. We're recruiting the best talents around the world. They might be recruited via Hong Kong, which is a great way. They could be working in Zhongshan. They can be doing the research in Zhongshan. But those people, they probably will be supported by Hong Kong ties. And also it should be an area with the research translation. It's not just our research output, but also what we can get from around the world. They want to be translated in Hong Kong because of the legal system is one that the Western world is familiar with. So this could be an area where the research translation. It could also be where we get the capital and funding. Capital is the most important factor. Only with capital involvement can we combine, align all the innovative elements together. So Hong Kong should make good use of its position and capabilities of international capital markets. And also we talk about clinical studies. It is an area where we can link up the clinical studies. And also we hope it could also be where the drug can be registered, launched, and gathering into the international market. There are many innovative drugs, many new drugs in mainland China, and Hong Kong could play a role in launching those products into the world. And this is my question for Hong Kong about what you can do about it. And also, I have to talk about a question about transformation. Now, we are moving from generic into innovative drugs. So this is putting the investors and the governments to some of the demanding questions. We're moving from scientific discovery to engineering projects. This is our agenda that we put to the university from both Guangdong and Hong Kong. And how do they drive the engineering progress so that all this research and scientific discovery can be materialized into products? And also moving from profit making into a course and endeavor, and also we are driving the transformation from personal development and helping and contributing to the revival and also revival of the glory of this great nation. And hope we'll spare no time and live up to the demand expectation of this great time. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Li, for the wonderful sharing. Now I'm going to hear from the former Vice President, Mr. Raymond Yip from Hong Kong TDC. He's going to talk about how Hong Kong helped with the import-export of healthcare products. Honorable Vice Chairman Leung, Secretary Lai, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Let's start by thanking the organizer for having me at today's forum so that I have a chance to visit the beautiful Zhongshan in such a beautiful day in spring. And we're going to talk about an industry that have gotten a lot of interest, even more so given the pandemic, which is the health and medicine. Now, before I talk about how Hong Kong can help with the import-export of health and medical products, allow me to present you Hong Kong as a world-class superconnector platform. Hong Kong boosted a foreign trade exceeding $1 trillion and ranking number 8 in the world. As a city, that is a remarkable performance. Now, Vice Chairman Leung has talked about it is actually rarely known that Hong Kong's foreign trade total is actually 3 times of our GDP, and that is ranking top in the world. Compared with other major transit markets, like Singapore, we are twice as much. We're 1.5 times of Netherlands and 1.4 times. For Singapore, that was 2 times, 1.5 for Netherlands, and 1.4 times of UAE. So Hong Kong, with 3 times of GDP, is far a leader. By reference, in China, there was a 31%, US was 26%, Germany 88%, and Japan there was 37%. Those countries are major trading powers, but the foreign trade hasn't reached as much as their local GDP. There was another fact that was even less well known. One of the Hong Kong advantage which is our offshore trade. Offshore trading include merchanting and also the merchandising for offshore transactions. Now, offshore trading involves the seller outside of Hong Kong who are shipping directly to buyers outside of Hong Kong, whereas the cargo and goods involved does not get in and out of Hong Kong, so it is not tallied into the import-export total by the Hong Kong Custom in 2018. The offshore trade of Hong Kong reached $620 billion, which is equivalent to the 117.4% of the year's trade. So it's actually higher than the Hong Kong transit trade. So therefore, regardless onshore or offshore trade, Hong Kong has tremendous and amazing throughput. Hong Kong is a world-class trading center. As Mr. Leong has said, we're not just buying the goods that's needed to supply the Hong Kong domestic market, we are also buying variable products which is used for tradable product in our transit business, from the light industrial consumption product to production machineries, raw materials, and also some of the product that has never been used in Hong Kong, for example, mining machinery, the livestock herding equipment. In this area, the superconductor of Hong Kong has the capability, the network, and the channel to seek the buyer for sellers and seeking out the sellers for buyers. Surely that kind of capability can be applied to the health and medical industry. Hong Kong, being an international training center of highest quality, volume, and efficiency, as we can see from this chart, we have very high import per capita. On per capita basis, we are higher than the Netherlands, Singapore, and UAE. We are also higher than the major powers like Germany, Japan, and the US. Of course, we couldn't consume all the product that we import, so many products are actually for transit business, where they go to other markets. Of course, it doesn't cover the offshore trade. As I mentioned, offshore trade was not included into the Hong Kong customs statistics. So if you put that, if you want to put it in, it has to be on top of this figure. So Hong Kong being a high quality, high volume, high footprint, high efficiency trading center, we can help Zhongshan to make use of the free trade port of Hong Kong, our simple and well-developed management system, our low tax basis, and also robust international ties, as well as our efficient logistic and supply chain services to promote and help the Zhongshan health and medical product to go global. I very much like to liken foreign trade to dating, and I like to compare investment to marriage. Of course, you date before you get married. Of course, you can marry first and start to get to know each other better. But Hong Kong is really a super matchmaker. A super matchmaker can help Zhongshan to find a desirable dating mate or marriage partner. So regardless whether you are looking for someone to date or someone to get married, I'm sure you get the Mr. or Mrs. Right. Now, before I retire from the Hong Kong TDC, Trade Development Council is a statutory institution of the Hong Kong SAR for the last 50 years. We have been playing the role of promoting those matchmakings. We have 50 offices around the globe, which is the most among all the public institutions and agencies of Hong Kong. TDC provide seamless matchmaking services, and we provide Zhongshan companies with various platforms, such as world-class exhibitions. Like in November in Hong Kong, we're going to have the Medical Products Expo, and also we have the online trading platform, TDC online, and also of offline publications, so that we can get in touch with global buyers. Feel free to reach out to our TDC Guangzhou or Shenzhen rep office. Of course, South China rep is here present today. Of course, if you are looking for someone to get married with, you can go to the Invest Hong Kong under Hong Kong SAR government to seek your place to settle down in Hong Kong. Now, I'd like to also mention Hong Kong's financial services. Even though we are dealing with a challenging environment. Hong Kong's IPO proceeds last year was 397.5 billion Hong Kong dollars, which was up by 27% year-on-year basis. Hong Kong is not just a preferred financing platform in the world. As I mentioned, we are the second largest biotech financing IPO platform in the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, according to the United Nations data, 2020, the global population is going to reach 7.7 billion, and of which 9% are aged 35 or above. By the end of the 2050, according to the predictions, the people aged 35 or above are going to account for 16%. The World Health Organization estimates that the global annual expenditure on health and related industry will reach $7,800 billion, which is equal to 1/10 of the global GDP. The lifespan of mankind around 2050 will be 77 years. So due to the expansion of the lifespan and also some emergencies, the new virus, new diseases, there will be a huge demand in global stage for the health and the medicine products. And also, we believe the industry we are in are definitely enjoy a booming picture and also the promising futures. I wish everyone are going to make a detailed plan to embrace this future. And also, Hong Kong has become the third largest market in these parts, only placed second to placer to the US and also the Germany. So I wish perhaps you can regard you as the super connector to be the good partner so that we can realize the great causes together. And also to wish our health and medical product can through Hong Kong to go to every corner around the world. Let's remember clearly that if you want to go global, Hong Kong will definitely go first step. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for Mr. Ye. And now would like to give the floor to the president of the HKCHSE, Mr. Liu Shaohuai, to give us a speech. This gentleman is going to give you some introduction about the talent training and also the medical administration. Now let's give the floor to this gentleman. Distinguished Mr. Liang and also the Secretary Lai and other dear guests, good afternoon. Well, we have been involved in the medical industry and also some specialty management, and we have a great interest to improve the management level and in service system, and also creating the excellent care and the medical care in Hong Kong. In the past 18 years, we have promoted those the conduct code and also some ethic codes and also some standards, and we have actively participated in GBA and also some greater in some overseas exchange. And through the collaboration, we have held a lot of roundtable meetings and also participated in some the policy making, such as the Elder Society and the medical financing, and also a lot of workshops. Today, we have participated in the forum between Hong Kong and Zhongshan. We would like to talk about some new challenges, new opportunity, and a new integration between the two parties. And right now, we notice we have faced a lot of complicated issues. They are staring at our face, especially for the practitioner in this medical industry. Right now in Hong Kong and in some surrounding area, we have faced those mounting pressures in those population and those such as chronic diseases, aging society, etc. And also some the advances of technology has also faced some other changes such as COVID-19 and changing in our fast economy and society, and we believe in perhaps the structure of our population and the risk imposed by it, and also some in harmony between the human environment, all those things are going to pose some potential risk. This not only has faced Hong Kong, but also some 9 cities, 2 districts in the GBA. They are like an unprecedented risk, but we believe that through the brainstormings, our frontline healthcare and management experience are going to provide a lot of good things, not only for the fundamental constructions, but also some good experience about the prediction, prevention, and the treatment. And we also has involved in the healthy economics and the insurance and population statistic, predictions, information in medical industry, drug R&D, and also the public welfare policy and human management, etc. In the 9 cities, 2 districts covered by GBA. We believe in a new norm. We need to make joint efforts and cross-region, cross-discipline to share the medical resources and the development platform and opportunity together. And the new opportunity will bring Hong Kong and Zhongshan with those more high-level medical system. And through these platforms, we can also make more down-to-earth works. And for the GBA area it has a population of 17 million. This is also the most vital area with the highest development openness. We have witnessed the gradual formations of the close tie between the cities and Hong Kong, and also right now the road highway, the high-speed train, and also for the HZMB bridge has linked all different cities, and it's like a good catalyst between all these areas. And in 2019, the delegations, with the support of the Zhongshan cities and also the Chen Xinhai family support, right now the delegation teams from Hong Kong has participated in the collaboration forums, and also for the medical industry development had to provide our experience is the first step, and also for the HKCHE has signed a collaboration with the Chen Xinhai Hospital in the talent training, discipline exchange, and also some exchanges of the delegation talents has enjoyed a lot of support, and also for our institute. In 2019, we have also provided the high-end medical talent training for the 30 different directors, and in the class, everyone have shared the latest patterns and also some feasibility discussion about the reforms in hospitals. I believe they are all the precious experience. We have also talked about some innovative possibility, and also for the future's health solution platform, we definitely need to break through the existing constraint of a hospital. We need to talk about a different pattern to take care of the patients, and by using different information technologies such as internet, big data, AI, and also the other different tools. Those kind of innovating a lot could bring neural system. We can integrate all the different medical groups and manufacturers, insurance company, and other health industry practitioners. And we believe in the future more and more alliance and parties are participating in the function development, such as the internet diagnosis and therapy, and also the telephone consulting and online family health consulting center for different diseases and health issues. We can match those patients with a professional team to provide a one-stop high-end, and also to refine the system. Not only can help to distribute resources, but also pull together when necessary. So face those kind of complicated issues, just like a plate of spaghetti. We need special teams. Right now, you can see the role has been further expanded for those medical practitioners. We give them new content, and we has been challenged by a lot of new risk. So that's why in this way, we want to use all kind of the trainings and new way to improve ourselves. We believe all this kind of work are going to pave the new way for the fusion between the Hong Kong and also the Zhongshan citizens. Right now, we can see that the final goal of the new integration is that promoted by the perfect medical administration management. And right now, those doctors in Hong Kong can be granted a lot of new opportunity, and also blessed by the convenient policy. They can start a business in Greater Bay Area. They can bring this really good experience of Hong Kong and to the mainland areas, whether it's like the common diseases, chronic diseases, or some like the untractable diseases. We can have some consultings. Everyone can share the experience and also to learn from each other's experience. business. In the future, we can predict that more and more private entity, they can also prosper well in this new normal after COVID-19, and they can reach out to the provincial institute and also to support it in the different hospital and also work closer together with the healthcare homes. And also in the new opportunity, we can give full play to each other's synergetic advantage, complemented to each other's advantage, and also bring the good technology, and through the collaborative way, we can develop the new technology, provide high-quality service. It's like people-oriented, and they can not only guarantee the people's health care and promote the public welfare. Thank you. Thank you so much for Mr. Liu for sharing. Now let's give the floor to the next speaker. That is Deputy Director of Technology Transfer Division of University of Hong Kong, Mr. Yu Zishan, to give us an introduction about the new startup in Hong Kong and the development opportunity in the Greater Bay Area. And the distinguished leaders, and dear experts and close friends. Today, I'm going to use my limited time to give an introduction for the startup in Hong Kong, especially in the biomedicine industry. For those companies, what is your development opportunity in the GBA area? Well, of course, I'm going to cut the chase. So this is about the GBA's general information, the timeline. Well, for the biomedicine company, what is the sore point? According to myself, they fall to the following three categories. First, it's difficult to find the findings. Second, according to myself, for the Hong Kong product, they face a lot of commercialization, industrialization issue, especially the sales step. They lack those clear goals to guide them. Third, it's difficult to find the right talents, especially if you are a startup company. If you find the talents you need in this industry, it's like a mounting task and difficult issue. So, in this slide, you can see the majority of the startups, they need to use their own savings to support the company development. They rely heavily on the government of Hong Kong for the subsidies. And if you see those investments from those institutes, how they're going to invest in those startups, they prefer to invest the money in the company who are already in the normal tracks. So for the big companies who already perform quite well, in 2018, generally speaking, they invest in 3 companies. Well, for the rest of the money goes to the other 39 companies. So in Hong Kong industry of biomedicine, those startups has faced limited growth space, and a lot of challenges are staring at their face. Just now we had mentioned the Hong Kong market. It kind of narrow compared with other places. And also, for this industry, their investment, they prefer to invest in other industry rather than biomedicine. They don't get manufacturing chain to support them. This is something they cannot solve in the current stage. This is another sore point. The third sore point is lack of talents. So let's see, I have a startup company. I want to find the right talents, but where I can find them? In Hong Kong, there are 2 universities or several more universities who can cultivate those talents. But whether this talents is enough for the startups, for the startup company, if they want to develop themselves in the GBA, what is the development pattern? They can consider the several issues. First, the commuting time, and also some collaboration with the local parties and the government policy, or some related industry resources. To start with, it's a commuting time between the Hong Kong and the GBA. We have mentioned it's like the 1 hour ecosystem. We have already get to the Guangzhou-Shenzhen highway and also the Shenzhen-Zhongshan channels. We believe that perhaps later from the boundary strait to the Hong Kong, and also we even got some the ferry boats to link to different cities to Hong Kong. The other thing is that the 14th five-year plan. According to national policy, we has mentioned that biomedicine is definitely strategic focus in the next several years. In the Zhongshan city, we also formulated related policy to support the biomedicine industry and the medicine-related company. From the national policy and the local government support perspective, Zhongshan enjoy a lot of the local investment company prefer to support those startups. Just now, several speakers before me has mentioned this point. In 2019, so in 2019, the National Health Technology Park ranked the top 10 in whole China. Here, you can see this is definitely a good space for those Hong Kong biomedicine company, especially in the startup phase, to settle down in this park to continue the development.
When it comes to talent supply, I'm going to talk about our innovative platform with Guangdong Pharmaceutical University, where that university has a campus in Zhongshan. They have another campus in Yunfu. So now we have a platform in Zhongshan. It is important because we're going to have some of the GRP, Animal House, and also Zhongshan has been very active in pursuing the overseas university to set up their institutions there, like the University, of Macau, Technology University of Macau. They also have their, subsidiary organization here. Now, because of some of the startups, they will do R&D, but also they need platforms for lab tests, for CRO, CMO, CDMO. They need various miscellaneous support functions. By way of tapping into this platform, all these startups can make use of the platform to continue driving their R&D. So it's a list of key companies in this sector. In 2018, in the torch zones, there's around over 300 biomedical companies. We do see a cluster here. All these startups coming over here, they are able to learn and contact and connect with each other. In 2018, in terms of number of drugs, listing is now ranking number 2 in the GBA. I'm feeling that this is going to be a rising number, and Zhongshan is going to narrow the gap with the number 1. So very briefly, I'm going to talk about the platform between Guangdong Pharmaceutical University and Hong Kong U in the Zhongshan Biomedicine Innovation Center. Now, we are grateful for Zhongshan government and the National Health Foundation for their generous support for us to build up such an innovation platform. The phase 1 has been already completed. The function is being an incubator, technology transfer, and joint wet lab. As I said, the first phase has been completed. There has been more than 10 companies settled in. Well, because of the pandemic, they cannot come through the border. So I hope the border will be reopened. Now, from Zhongshan Port, it will just take you 7 minutes to walk to the platform. I'm a bit older, so it will take me 8 minutes, but still, it's very close to the Zhongshan Port. So these are some of the pictures of the interior of the platform. On the 3rd floor, we have space for startups. We have many spaces for offices. Also, we have bigger spaces as well. In terms of building a smart, intelligent health town, we have a whole building which is going to be dedicated to the lab. We have completed the EPA assessment, and also we have done the floor plan design. We are now, in discussion for the first phase office to the wet lab. It's going to be like just 15 minutes by drive from the incubator to the wet lab. The current companies, they are doing on ADC, the TCM, and the Western pharmaceutical R&D, innovative drug, anti-tumor. Basically, for those companies who got on our platform have patent protection. They hold patents, and over 90% of the key technology has been filed for patents. So I hope when the border reopens, we can bring in more startups to come over here for high-level biomedical R&D. And I hope Zhongshan could become an important base for biomedicine. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Yu. We're going to hear from Vice President of Chinese Medicine Research Institute of Macau University, Deputy Director of Controllability Research Center of State Key Lab of Quality Research of Traditional Chinese Medicine, Professor Li Peng, who is going to talk about the research output of his key lab. Honorable Vice Chairman Mr. Leung, Mr. Lai, ladies and gentlemen, dear experts, it's a great pleasure and honor to be here, to be invited by the organizer to Zhongshan and to this forum of health and medicine. We talk about Zhongshan Hong Kong Industry Forum. I was a little bit surprised that I was invited, being a Macau representative, to come to the Zhongshan Hong Kong Forum. But soon, I can understand why. Because, Hong Kong is a bigger market with a lot of experience of health industry, and I have a lot of contact with Zhongshan. And when it comes to Macau in the health industry and health technology, you probably do not know much about our accomplishments. So I'm really happy to be able to come here to give you a brief talk on this forum regarding how and what Macau has done in the health industry, particularly when it comes to traditional Chinese medicine. The topic is when it comes to the TCM research and University of Macau and some of the key labs in terms of disciplinary development, research and development. Firstly, disciplinary development in 2012. Macau University set up the TCM Research Institute, which was the first TCM-oriented faculty in the University of Macau, and also the first research-oriented body. In that year, we offered 2 master degrees of TCM and pharmacology, and in 2014 we'll offer a doctorate degree. So we have been really pioneering in the TCM and also biomedicine when it comes to higher education. In a few years' time, in 2010, we honor being approved by Ministry of Technology to set up the TCM Quality Research Key Lab. That key laboratory was the first national key lab in TCM in China. So in about 10 years, since the approval of the designation of the key lab, we have made a range of accomplishments in the TCM research. For example, in 5 scientific areas, like in the pharmacology, toxicity, clinical, chemistry, and material science, we have among the 1% ESI. So 20% of our disciplines are among the 1%. And also we have make more than half the contribution of the ESI contributions. So in 20 years of disciplinary development in Macau, Pearl River Delta, and mainland China, we have trained a large number of high-level talents in TCM and biomedicine. In master degree, we have trained over 650 master and doctorates. And also we have trained over 200 postdoctorate candidates. In terms of team building, we are small, but also highly sophisticated. It's about 10-person team, or 10 about teams, about 30 professors, also administrators. And among the 30 personnel, most of them have been trained overseas with systematic healthcare-related disciplines. At the same time, they're knowledgeable about modern TCM when it comes to knowledge and philosophy. Therefore, they're capable of bringing the TCM elements into modern technology. In terms of platform development in a university, and also we are building 2 TCM-related platforms. First of all, at the University of Macau, the platform has a GFA of 20,000 square meters with the pharmaceutical, pharmacology, quality, chemistry. There are various centers in this platform. At different centers, they are carrying out respective R&Ds and researches. And thanks to the Macanese government's great support for the 10 to 20 years, every center is fully equipped with the scientific research equipment. We have close to a 300 million worth of equipments being set up in our center. In terms of industrialization, we're focusing on the TCM's product transfer and translation into the GBA. So that's how we position this TCM park so that we can promote the development of this park, which is why the university has been very active in transferring all these research outputs, where we have about 2,000 square meters of transfer and translation space. In academic developments, among the University of Macau, we are an important component in academic development, particularly the high-level publications. Like in the CNS publications, so we are surprised at the outcome. We actually accounted for over 60% of the total publication of Macau University. In SCI publications, we are seeing a rising trend in terms of SCI publication. In terms of awards and technology output transfer, I'm just reporting what we have done in the past 2 years. In the past 2 years, we have been awarded the first prize of TCM International Contribution, and various other awards and accolades, an important patent, which is our IP protected, the solid-state liquid capsule, which has been granted a patent. We have been applying for the patent for 5 years. In 2014, when Mr. Xi Jinping visited our campus, he had to look at our product. It was taking the TCM with 2 types of different components. They are made into different forms, in solid and liquids. So each component has the suitable formality, and they are being encapsulated in the same capsule. It was not seen in the market. I hope after launch, this will help to launch a new solid and liquid type of capsule to be launched in the market.
Besides, in the international collaboration, we are really active. We're not only based in GBA, but also use this as a springboard and reach out to other institutes, not only in the Greater China area or some international research lab, focus on related parts or some university or some famous company, so that we're going to have all-around collaboration. You can see our collaboration network has covered all these famous university and enterprises. The other thing we'd like to report to you is we have made academic journal from scratch. Right now, the academic journal, after several years of endeavor and efforts, we checked the influence factor, that is IF. In 2020, we believe that we're going to be listed at least the top 5. And we can even be ranked the first in some traditional medicine. According to ourselves, we wish in the TCM, some good results will be published in our own academic journal. We can ship it into a better forms. The second point I would like to share with you is in the R&D, what is our inheritance innovation? Our name is like the quality controllability of the key lab. You can see the main focus is the TCM quality. Around this main thing, we also have some pro-referential focus. That is around the wet lab. We mainly focus on the 4 different aspects, such as effectiveness and safety and controllability, etc. Apart from that, we focus on some soft science study, such as some international benchmark or criteria involving about the self-owned patents and also some registration or some clinical trial. We're going to embed them in the soft science, and in a joint way, we can increase the TCM quality. In the interest of time, I'm only give you some general information of some of the key projects in the past 2 years. Now let's see those highlights. So one is about the extraneous pollutant fast check and detection. So due to the TCM special quality, we not only get some indigenous pollutants or the toxic material, we also get some pollutant come from the external environment, such as the heavy metal, etc. So for this kind of the residues of the exogenous pollutants, we have developed some fast track to detect all of them. When the national leader has paid a visit to our lab, I also reported to Mr. Zhang at that time, and I told them what is the fast track tools we can use, or what is the toolkits, etc. And they also encourage us to have the more study in this part. We believe in the encyclopedia. We also included them in their futures work. And also, we has mentioned that The other thing is endogenous toxic component spotting, and also evaluate all those things, because embedded in all those TCM ingredients, perhaps you have heard about it, such as some material you must have heard before. It's how to use a scientific way to study all those endogenous toxic components, and to set some criteria to have the all-around and scientific evaluation for them. This will also be the focus of our research lab. And speaking about the efficacy study, we mainly focus on 3 categories. One is those things are going. So one are going to help you get rid of the toxic ingredients, and also to help the blood flow, etc. And they have a close relationship with those the tumor findings and also the neural network, such as you remember one project focused on the TCR2. This is a new regulating immune response. You can use it as targets in the TCM, especially in some small molecule new ingredients. This target has been mentioned by this expert. So this is another project focused on the anti-neurodegenerative diseases according to their own research. They noticed from the TCM a lot of those compounds, and especially after you go through those high content screening, you can find those compounds. And the other thing is, from the one of those, the Chinese TCM called the beta-cardamine, you can find those ingredients, and we can use them to promote with them, and later we reach out to the Portuguese company to have in-depth collaboration already signed, those collaboration frameworks and contract, and later we're going to have some joint collaboration, even give some license. And speaking about the stability of the drug, we mainly focus on several things. The one is the delivery system, such as DDS, and also some latest the format or the reagent forms, also the delivery way to give you the drugs. And speaking about delivery pathway, we have spotted some new technology based on the nano particle, such as the PLGA particles. We can use them in the pyrolysis and also the other different transdermal drug delivery way. And we also developed some new material based on the big molecule, and it's also the innovative delivery system. So this is something you can use in the tumor therapy, and they are the active ingredient drug carrier system. And the other project focus on some the excipients. It's like a material study. In this aspect, the subject is still the TCM. We want to extract all those ingredients. They're not only active in the efficacy, but also has been boosted with a material innovation function, such as we have found a lot of those gluconan, and it not only has been active and enjoyed with a biofunction, but it has have some innovative material features, so that when we develop this material, it's like the 2 function in 1. It's a new type of material you can develop and derived from these ingredients. And speaking about the contributory study, in the past several years, we have participated in those rules and regulation studies, such as in Professor Li Zhaoping. In the past several years, I participated in U.S. pharmacopoeia and the criteria regulation. And also, speaking about compound polysaccharides, they also make some exploration work in these parts. And the other thing is we focus on Southern China TCM. And we reach out to related parties to have extensive collaboration. We wish we can set out some standards for the Southern China TCM and promote them to be the national standard one day. Meanwhile, we participated in the European pharmacopoeia and also for some international TCM plant material, the herb materials formulation, such as one is a radius OP Ponius, which has been adopted by European pharmacopoeia last year. speaking about the soft science, we also has mentioned one thing that is something related with international registration and the patent application, etc. So let me give you one concrete example. That is about the CAR-T. This is hot. So this is a really famous therapy and have the analysis of the patent application around the world. And he give you a detailed analysis. This result has been published in the Nature Biotechnology. The other work we focus on is also a great concern of the whole industry. That is the TCM registration of legislative work in Macau and also some related policies. In the past several years, national government has mentioned we want to give big support to Macau to develop the TCM to be the carrier for the big health industry. But along the process, the registration and legislation framework has become the main issue to tackle. We want to help the government to formulate a draft and also came up with some related documents. Along the process, our research project has also contributed our due share. In the end, I would like to say thank you so much for the related government leaders and also for the Macau Scientific Fund for the great support. I would like to take this great opportunity and today's forum to express my wishes that in the future, perhaps apart from the collaboration between Hong Kong and Zhongshan, we can also include Macau in this great picture, such as like Macau, Hong Kong, Zhongshan, and other cities in the Greater Bay Area, and we are going to have like the collaboration in pairs, so that in a joint way, we can use the TCM as a good representative to drive forward the whole big health industry. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for Mr. Li. Now let's move on to section 3 of today's forum. We'd like to hear the experience sharings from the Institute. Now let's first give the floor to the Deputy General Manager and the General Counsel of the Guangdong Nanyue Group, Mr. Qiao Liang. He is going to give you some introduction to how to use the company to drive forward the high-quality developments of the TCM. Distinguished Vice Chairman Mr. Liang Zhenying and the Secretary Lai and also the Vice Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. First, I would like to say thank you so much for the invitation for the Nanyue Group to come to today's forum and co-share our experience, especially in TCM, the big health industry, and also some concrete examples we can contribute. So for the Nanyue Group has dedicated itself to the Macau development for the 4 decades. It's a great window for the Chinese government to reach the local parties. And we are also leading force in these areas. We correspond actively to the provincial requirements. We want to support the social development and social cause and industry development, and we have came up with all kinds of key projects, and we have formulated the park development and also the cross-border financing service. And among the Guangdong province, we are the great promoter for this kind of collaboration, and also we are the great window for the Macau to embed themselves, to fit themselves in the Greater China picture in the industry development. Recently, for the Nanyue Group, we also have the great layout in the health industry, and we have reached out to the Guangdong pharmaceutical company and also reach out to the Hong Kong related issues to set out the natural components project. We want to inherit those the traditional wisdom and also innovate it on this base. We want to get a platinum-based international herbal or natural components companies. So for these platforms, we have not only pulled together those resources in the Macau and also Nanyue parks, and we have got all kinds of lessons issued by the Macau government, and we have also enjoyed a good distribution network. We want to contribute all these resources to the GBA, not only focus on service inspection, and also the incubation, and also the drug distribution, and also like the and all kind of service support from the beginning to the end, and also being driving forward globalization process. All this work is in line with the President Xi Jinping's message set out in those great meetings, and it is also one part of the top-level designs. And according to the Mr. He Yicheng, the chief executive of Macau, we believe that they are going to help us to spot the national's advantage, but due to some restricted or the strengthened approval system, we need to give full play to the Macau's unique legislative advantage to solve this issue. And also, we want to help the TCM to have the smooth registration according to Mr. He, all the drug producer in Macau, if we can get access to GBA, and also to face the noise city to district in the GBA, that is 70 million population in this area. They are going to have a great propel and also the robust opportunity for the Macau. According to, we know that right now, according to those TCM registration law, right now it has been submitted to the Legislative Council for the approval. Just now, some speaker before me have given you some explanation about that. And for the operation of this park has been the main business of Nanyue in the Hengqin and also Macau. We have not only get the two parks, and one is in the Luhuan area in the Nanyue Park, then the other is in Zhuhai, Hengqin areas. Those two parks has got those kind of factory backward in the back end, and also have those kind of the store on the front end. So through this way, it has been constituted the Nanyue Group's great solid stone for our future developments.
The Nanyue Science Park is actually in the Kowloon Industry Park of Macau, which is about kilometers away from Hengqin Port. It covered 27,000 square meters with a built area of 26,000 square meters. We have built 7 buildings for science, technology, inspection, and production. Now, and in Hengqin, which cover 500, which is the Nanyue TCM Industry Park, has been approved by the review committee of Hengqin Development Program, which is also approved by the Chief Executive of Macau. We are now furthering their planning. Now, Macau is an area where we can really achieve the great speeds. It takes us only 15 days to build a state-of-the-art PCR lab, and also within two months, we have been granted a license for clinical analytic laboratory. Now, this is being the industry platform, which is circled around the Nanyue Science Technology Park, and also the license that have been granted. And also, this is our sales network that have been rooted in Macau and also feeding into the Greater Bay Area, and also to other Portuguese-speaking countries. This is the profile of each link of services for TCM, from academician Nan Shanzhong, who talk about the third-party testing platform for Macanese pharmaceutical products, to all the R&D system that are around the academic organization, to all the other systems that cover food, functional food, TCM drugs, patent drugs, and all the medical devices. We're now working with over 20 domestic well-known pharmaceutical and medical companies, such as the Pianzai Huang, Tongrentang, Dongyang Guang, Hongji Tang. And also we have many well-known overseas pharmaceutical companies who want to make use of the platform to get into the GBA market. So we uphold the principle of innovation and promote diversity. We hope our platform can provide services to the GBA player, particularly the players in Zhongshan. We offer a brand new innovative platform to drive the TCM quality development in the GBA. We believe that the TCM is becoming more modernized, is also helping and leading the way into internationalization. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Qiao. Next, we're going to hear from Mr. Chen Yuling from Pura Farm, who's going to give a talk on the role of Hong Kong in the internationalization. Hi, I'm Chen Yuling. I'm chairman of Pura Farm and CEO of the company. Today, I'm going to talk about the role that Hong Kong plays in TCM modernization and internationalization. Now, as a place of internationalizing and also modernizing TCM, there need to be some basic conditions. As you know, Hong Kong has a highly developed system of common law, and Hong Kong is international financial center. In trading, logistics, and shipping, we have ample experience. At the same time, we are a free port. We have no tariff. In the meantime, we're also the most important offshore renminbi settlement center and clearing center, which is very useful for trading. And also, for 25 years in a row, Hong Kong was named the freest economy in the world. Hong Kong also have our academic advantage. We have 5 universities who are among the top 100 in the world. And also because Hong Kong has a lot of connection with mainland China, so we have about 40 academicians of Chinese Academy of Science, Chinese Academy of Engineering. We also will have 6, key labs, 16 key labs. Also, we have a lot of funding. Now, since ancient time, Hong Kong has been a trading center. So, in terms of laboratory, internationally acknowledged and accredited laboratory abundant, we have 830 testing and accreditation organizations. And Hong Kong is also setting up a TCM testing center. We have a temporary building, but in another 3 to 4 years, we're going to have a new one operational. Hong Kong is a major distribution and transit center for TCM herbs. The next topic is about how do we modernize TCM. I mean, Chinese medicine modernization is simple. If you want to modernize it, it has to be popularized. Your product or services need to get better buy-in. People are willing to make use of the product or services. Otherwise, you are nothing but history. I won't go to theories. I want to talk about our actual experiences and practices to talk about what do we see as the modernization and internationalization of TCM. To modernize the traditional subject, you have to reverse the image. So the production, manufacturing, anything, you need to project a fresh image. So in Guangxi, we have a modern factory because all the modern people would like to know what did you get the food that you put in your mouth. So you have a farm-to-bottle concept for the farming of the herb to all the way it was made into a product. If we were to modernize something, it has to be something that feels convenient and easy to use, which is why from 1998, we're starting to make the traditional herb slices to make it into granulates. Granulates are easier to be used. To make a decoction is rather troublesome. Not many people like to decoct those herbal slices. We want to make it easier to use. So from manufacturing to product to all the way to administration to patients, we have our own clinics. If you look at the PowerPoint slide, our clinic has to look modern as well. We are appealing to younger clientele. For example, in Hong Kong, the main clientele who visit our clinic are in the range of 25 to 40 years old, and they are 70% of our client base. We also have a way to modernize the applications, and I have to spend some time on this. In 2004, to make it easier to make use of TCM product, particularly for elder population. We solved the problem of the last mile delivery, which is to say we put the TCM clinic and put it on board on a mobile vehicle, and we drive it to the patient. In Hong Kong, there are a lot of residential villages. In 2004, we have one mobile vehicle. We didn't know whether it works or not, but now, over 10 years has passed. We now have 90 vehicles in our fleet. Every day, we take care of about 5,000 Hong Kong people. We find this very meaningful because we are taking services to the poor population. This is a part of the modernization of the application of TCM, and I think it offers a very important messages. And then, what is internationalization? To me, internationalization again is about employing methods and ways that international consumers and users will find your product acceptable. We have been doing great in that regard. Like many years ago, we are already among the top 5 in terms of export of TCM products. In order to bring convenience to the local citizens so that they have faith in your product, we chose to build our own factory in the United States. The way we do it is we ship the raw material and extracts to US, so the product is made in US, and we use the local professional acupuncture masters. There are about 40,000 of those in US. They are the channel for us to sell our product to the local consumers. Acupuncture, well, 90% were practiced by ethnic foreigners. They are not practiced by ethnic Chinese. Of course, we are making TCM. So we have many Asian formulas. For example, 明目帝王 pills. The formulation is a pill, but in the US, a pill is difficult to digest. So we have to cater to their needs. For example, we have drips. Drips are easier for them to accept, which is why our product become quite popular over there. We did the same thing in Japan because in Japan they have tempura. But if you do not make it in Japan, you are not going to be believable, which is why we have our own productions in Japan. We also bring some of the Japanese technology to be manufactured and produced in China. So some of the Japanese products are also brought here for sales and marketing. Therefore, the modernization of TCM has to be based on innovation and research. How do we make the foreigner believe what you're selling? I think the best way is to have them to prove that your product is effective. So the way we do it is we tell them it is effective, but I will have you to test it out yourself. So we work with universities like Toronto, West Sydney, and the Royal Botanic Garden in the UK. We provide some funding, we provide the raw material, and have them to test it out. Sometimes they were surprised and amazed and say, it really works. So in this case, we save the trouble of making the explanation. 100 lectures by ourselves is not effective as one lecture by themselves. So sometimes, of course, we have to come down to research like physiology as well as biology and chemical. Sometimes it's not exactly the same with TCM theory. TCM is very complicated. The mechanism is one of system. Many people will call it more art than science. So we have to make new technology to interpret the TCM and theory so that we can interpret it by the modern language, which is why we use a lot of data. We have used a lot of AI, artificial intelligence, trying to elucidate the relation between human and drug and the disease. This is how we interpret the concept of modern TCM. Of course, what you produce shouldn't be just verbal, but also be presented. You have to present it in the well-known journals in the world, so those output can be presented. That's the way to make it compelling, that the purpose can be served for the modernization of TCM. So that's the time I have. Enough said from me. If you're interested, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be very happy to share with you some of my observations when it comes to modernization and internationalization of traditional Chinese medicine. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chen. Next, we're going to hear from former president of Hong Kong Dental Society, Mr. Liang Shiming. He's going to talk about his experience of practicing in mainland China. Good morning. I'm Liang Shiming. I'm a dentist. I'm going to share with you my experience of practicing in mainland China, the opportunities and challenges. Now, setting up a clinic, there are two major drivers. First of all, national policy. Secondly, I was also enticed by the massive market.
So the CEP's arrangement is closely related with national professional practitioner and also the Medical Institute regulations. Speaking about the related framework, they has given us amazing opportunity for those Hong Kong physicians to open their own clinics in mainland China. In 2019, the GBA development outline had come into the pictures and also encourage a lot of the Hong Kong Medical Institute and professional entity to come to GBA to enjoy their own flourishing times. And 2019 Chinese Dental Association Trend Report has also indicated that the mainland dentist cannot satisfy the current demand. According to the ratio between population and dentist, we notice in a developed country, every 2,000 people share the one dentist, while in Hong Kong, it's every 3,000 people share one dentist, while in the Guangdong province, the ratio has become every 1 in 8,000. So in Guangdong province, we got like 110 million people, and in GBA, these people is like 70 million, which means the market has a huge demand for the dental service. So due to the policy culture in those two areas has been executed in a different way, the Hong Kong people and Macau people to enter the mainland market still face challenges to some extent. So to share experience from different parties, we notice the challenge come from the following aspect. To start with, long or the redundant approval times, and also the high high cost expenditure in the early stage. And third is like we have a different reviewing process or standards for the feasible or qualified physicians. So the other thing is difficult to find the supplier. First is a long approval time. So for the Hong Kong investor, if they want to open the clinics and do their practice in mainland China, they need to go through several approval process and also to waiting super long time. The lengthy time means they need to first go through all kind of auditing and also the notarization process. It's totally different from Hong Kong, and almost at least 9 months to finish the application. So perhaps 9 months is the ideal situation, which means for people to submit it, compared with the domestic market, those Hong Kong approval will double the time compared with the counterparts. And now you can see here, this is about other challenges we have shown you through this chart. Sometimes we need at least 6 months to get all those qualification papers. The other things, the second challenge is high cost at early stage. At the starting point, starting phase, we need to first get the feasibility report with a collaboration with a local party. So first, you need to settle down which places you want to open your clinics. You need to also to pay at least half of the rental and also the other related costs during the process. especially to apply for the medical institute practitioner license. You also need to give the list about the people participate or operating in your department. And if you want to just recruit first and approval later, which are going to further increase your cost expenditure. And the other thing is for the medical devices and also the architecture design. First, you need to get the approval from the related auditing department, and later you can start the construction, which to some extent further increase the expenditure. The other thing is for those physicians to get this mainland license, is still a really lengthy and complicated situation. According to the report, they mean that before the 2002, you first need to get the qualification for the specialty doctor, and then only by meeting the criteria, you are going to get this chance. But right now, people believe that perhaps we need to make some revision for this standard. First, it's difficult to find the suppliers. Well, in essence, this kind of approval process in Hong Kong is more complicated. If you want to find a supplier or find someone to do it for you, it will be easier. Right now, a lot of people, they are doing this kind of consultation, but you need to find. But a lot of people can provide the service, but finding the right supplier is so difficult. So for the Hong Kong, it's more like training the rivers by filling the stones. So first, we need to cut down the approval time. The second, we need to review this kind of the qualification standards or the criteria for the Hong Kong physician to apply for the license to operate in the mainland China. And also the other thing is we need to cut down all those cost expenditures. The type 1, the better one, to cut down the approval times. So perhaps we can further cut down the time for notarization, especially we have finished the first round of preliminary approval, so that we can not only avoid this time, the resources exchange between both parties, to avoid the time consumed, time waste, and also the money consumptions. And the other thing is perhaps both parties and the related institutes, we can improve their efficiency and avoid some overlapping working scope. The second, so for the residents, residential citizens in Hong Kong and Macau, when they apply for the physician qualification license in mainland China, right now we have all kind of different criteria, but right now perhaps later we can revise those criteria. Third, we need to build like a one-stop service platforms to provide not only the consulting service, investment service, etc., and according to the requirement for the different service provider and the requirement, we can tailor-make them to the certain parties. Third, perhaps we can provide it like the intermediary party list, helping them to reach out to the party they need. And the last part is we need to give them a one-stop service to help the Hong Kong doctor to finish all those approvals and application by themselves. We want to optimize the procedure, streamline the process, and encourage more and more doctors to come to mainland China to utilize this complementary advantage, which not only could respond to national policy, which are going to have a long-term benefits. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for Mr. Liang. Now let's give the floor to the last speaker. That is Acoso Bio chairwoman and the founder, and also the CEO, Madam Xia Yu. So Dr. Xia Yu today are going to share with us the Acoso Bio and the experience and mission, the dream and the vision. Well, I feel that I'm the last speaker to give you a speech, and so I feel so happy to get this sequence. And also, I would like to give my special thanks to the Mr. Wei Han Zhehua, and also the Vice Chairman Liang Zhenying, and also the ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. I feel so happy to get this precious opportunity to be the representative of the local company in Zhongshan to share with you our experience, how we started our business, and what is the vision for the Acoso Bio. So in a limited time, I'm going to share with you a lot of insights, how we start a business, what is our original goal, what is our dream, and also our outlook for the futures. Well, at the very beginning, of course, we want to put together the people with a like mind to the Zhongshan. We believe we're in the best era. We not only have a supportive capital and the government assistance, we wish in China we can provide it. Those innovative drugs like leading the rest of the world. As for our future outlook, we wish we're going to stay in the same track, use the technology to lead the world, and also in this great era to make something phenomenal, make a phenomenal treatment. Well, speaking about the original mission, people believe that when you go out, according to myself, I go global because I want to bring something good back to China. Now, I'm going to give you some introduction to myself. Well, in 1988, I graduated from the Seniors University for my education in UK, and later I go to the US in the Bay Area, and also in the Bell and the US PDL and the Sarawak. They are also the places I once worked for. They are the famous companies in the US Bay Area, and also they have, after I acquire the precious experience in those industry, I go back to the Zhongshan city, and you can see the Sun Yat-sen University is the only university in China to name after one great man. And also the Zhongshan city is the only one city to name after Mr. Sun Yat-sen. So that's why, according to me, this is definitely a blessing place for myself. Well, there are 3 pictures of myself. They represented the milestone and the growth path of Icosol Bio. Me and the other 3 experts, we have studied abroad, grow together, and then accumulate experience together. After that, 4 of us in 2012, we come to Zhongshan City. At that year, we are supported by the development zone, and when they give us the introduction of the Zhongshan, we have taken a good picture. And in 2015, that is the middle picture, we take a picture of ourselves when we are in the lab, and the last picture is in 2020 November. In the Changjiang Hotel, we have held our annual meeting for the Icosol Bio. We have taken another picture of 4 of us, and in 2012, we used 20 million angel funds. At that time, we have rent 500 square meters for the R&D and office. We come to the Zhongshan. There's one thing we'd like to remind you. So at that time, thanks to the 20 million angel funds, that has been given to us by the local investors, by the Xunxiang Capital. So perhaps you have heard about this capital. And so this has also been supported by the local government. And at that time, Zhongshan government gave us a lot of subsidy for the rental and also some medical devices support. And we finally put our project right on track. And also in this year, that 2021, just now, Mr. Li also gave us some introduction. We believe that innovation is an important force that is like some capital intensive, and we are lucky to raise 5.2 billion RMB. This had not include the money we recruited from the manufacturing for the factory construction. We also get like 2 billion RMB from the bank loan to build our manufacturing base. From the very beginning, you can see we expanded our space from 500 square meters to a larger space. Right now, it's 120,000 square meters for the R&D manufacturing and office. And for the people we recruited, the total number has exceeded 900. Well, our original goal is to come back to China for the new drug. This is our dream. We hold dear to our minds, and we want to create those drugs. And in the later slide, I'm going to share with you how we experienced and how we forged ahead in this journey, how we created this drug we dream of. Well, for the business creating, of course, first you need to have a dream. And during this journey, we want to be the first in the class, which will also be mentioned by Mr. Li, such as a PD1. And in the end, we want to be the best in class. And also, we have shared the same idea with our colleagues and our employees. We wish through those R&D and also those innovation, we can provide the affordable antibody drugs for the patients, contribute our doing share for the human therapy and human medicine industry, and along the journey, perhaps we can become a company not only famous in R&D and manufacturing, and also have a successful manufacturing process. We are going to rank top in the country, in the whole world. And speaking about our business creating process, there's one thing we feel so proud of. That is, at the early stage, we perhaps only with limited capital input and government support, we already make something remarkable. From very early stage, we want to benchmark to those outstanding company and international standard. We want to build a platform from the drug discovery to the manufacturing process, GMP, and also the clinical trial is like all in one. From the 2012 till this day, we have fully enhanced this capability. We have benefited from the whole process for the Arcasol Bio in the past decades. Compared with other companies focused on the biomedicine, we are definitely in the dominating place compared with our counterparts. It's not like an early stage. We want to just buy an innovative drug from the outside market and bring it in China. We want from the very beginning, that is a drug discovery, and to start all the process. Of course, talent is always the bloodline for the innovating company. So I'd like to recommend myself to you. Just now has mentioned that I once get a doctorate degree in UK and then work for several US companies, and after that I come back to China. And also I was recruited in entrepreneurs in the Ministry of Science. And last year I was also listed by the folks such as scientific female leaders.
So this is my team, Dr. Li, Dr. Wang, Dr. Zhang. We have a very solid leading team, which includes those who have graduated from Bell, who have postdoc in Yale, and also we have 2 doctors who have graduated from Peking University. Now, other than the 11 veteran senior executives on the team, other than VP Dr. Shi, who's operational VP, who's an indigenous sales genius. The rest, all 10 of them, have had a background of overseas studies and experience. So we'll put that team together and then put them in Zhongshan for innovation, which is why you have seen a multitude of accomplishments and results. As mentioned in 2012, in terms of drug discovery, we are building our platform and research. In 2015, in December that year, we have got an amazing milestone. Our drug discovery, CLA4, we sold that outcome at $200 million to Merck. $200 million was a remarkable price because it was the first Chinese innovative company to sell their antibody new drug to an international giant. To this day, now they have already put it into the phase 3 clinical studies at Merck. We are convinced it's going to be an antibody that will end up into a finished product. I'm not going to spend time on this chart, enough to say that this is how we demonstrate from the beginning of our startup to drug discovery to R&D, and we have been persevering from 2017. As you can see, our translation of the drug has become vibrant. As you can see now, we have 13 new drugs in the pipeline of clinical studies. 4 pipelines have been enlisted into the key scientific research projects of national level. In the US, Australia, New Zealand, China, we have employing a massive clinical study. The first drug in the middle of this year, in July or August this year, our drug will be officially launched into the market. The development of innovative drug, if we were to be on the same level to compete in the race, we have to be supported by the capital market, which is why on the 24th of April last year, we're listed in Hong Kong Exchange. In 2020, in the Chapter 18A, well, of course, anyone who files for Chapter 18A will have a lot of oversubscription. We have 146 billion oversubscription. So to this day, we are the only who have been listed by the Chapter 18A. What pleased us the most was the IPO was only the beginning. What happened after IPO? Well, because starting from 2012, we have been seeding, all the seeds has been blossoming, which is why since the performance after IPO have been really stellar. We're one of the domestic leading company to perform so well. So you can see such a innovative company. From 2012, our valuation was only 100 million, and now after round A, B, C, and D, all the way through the IPO. At IPO, we are valued at 13 billion Hong Kong dollars, and now it's about 50 billion, but the peak we were valued at 50 billion Hong Kong dollars. What it means is the industry and the world. I mean, in Hong Kong, we are being followed by a global market. Many investors are from the Wall Street in New York. So when we are really benchmark against the global biotech, and what we have been started at the beginning in terms of new drug discovery, we have been really acknowledged by the global capital market. So I'd like to draw your attention to our logo. That was the logo that we designed in 2012. At that time, I have chosen that logo, and I had a deep feeling for someone who had returned to China. I have a huge expectation for starting up a business in China. You see, there are 3 different stripes of color, and they are converging into the same force. That was what gave me the idea as an entrepreneur. We are working as a team, and we do need multiple forces. We need the support of capital, and also in China, we need the support from the government. So the 3 forces converge to become the success of a Kiso Bio. In Guangdong, we have got a lot of attention from the local government. On various levels of government, they have given us a lot of support. And we have been dedicated to become a world-class biopharmaceutical company. This is how we aim to be, and we have received a lot of awards. For example, we are a key overseas Chinese entrepreneurial team in Guangdong. We have won twice the Pearl River Talent Program. We're also the key Guangdong laboratory. So all these accolades have spoken to how we have fared so well in China in this great time, where we aim to bring the best drug in the world and also want to become the best in everything that we do. Again, there is also other awards being presented to us from the financial sector. We have been doing very well in many of these rankings and lists. Now, in 2020, we were listed. Our first drug has filed for the new drug certification in China. So in 2020, we have set the stage for a centuria of Kiso Bio. In 2021, we have embarked on the next century. We are ushering in the immunotherapy for oncology 2.0. This was in 2020, some of the data which shows how well we have been growing. Our PD-1 new drug, which is the will be the fifth PD-1 new drug in China. Now, about the PD-1 antibody in China, Dr. Li has talked about in the world that the PD-1 blockbusters were BMS and Merck's. Last year, they raked in $20 billion in sales. China, just last year, the PD-1 sales in China were put together, there was about 10 billion. With such an intense competition, in terms of our strategy, we have been taking out a great strategy. We are an innovative company. Everything started from scratch. So in this competition, our monoclonal antibody compare with the most powerful company in China, also 1177, the China Biopharm, which is also listed in Hong Kong. So when our drug was licensed, we are going to be we're hoping to get decent results in sales in the second half of this year. We're particularly grateful for Mr. Yan. He has already left the forum. I'd like to thank the Guangdong Drug Administration for the support. Without a doubt, I'd like to thank the Zhongshan Drug Administration. Just the week before last, we have completed the production site, which was the first GMP certification, which is a dynamic accreditation of GMP for our Zhongshan production site. We keep talking about we want to be a world-leading company. How do we define ourselves to be world-leading? For example, the Pine-Puli PD-1 monoclonal antibody. We are using the Chinese patients' data, but I'm pleased to report to you just last week, our clinical study for our cancer for this breakthrough therapy. We just got the breakthrough data. We are planning to use the data from Chinese patients to file for US FDA approval, because in regulatory concerted effort, it's now already possible as long as our clinical data to be compliant, legitimate, and also conform with the basic treatment criteria in the U.S. when it comes to GCP. We can use the Chinese clinical study data to file for U.S. registration. Now, other than this monoclonal antibody, I want to talk about the antibodies in U.S. We're going to file for U.S. registration. All these work that we put in really to pave the way for filing for registration in the United States. Now, when you talk about future, what do we want to be as a Kiso Bio? I want to talk about cancer treatment, particularly late-stage cancer. In the past, we start with chemotherapy, then we move on to target therapy. In the last 10 years, the latest advancement is the immunotherapy for cancer. We have now, starting from 2018, James Allison and also the other Nobel Prize laureates, the Tasuku Honjo, after their works, immunotherapy has reached a new height. The reason they become Nobel Prize laureate, the Japanese scholar has found the they have found the PD-1. They identify PD-1 receptor. James Allison, they also found CTLA-4. Now, that was actually the target where we have sold to Merck. We're also making PD-1 antibody, which will be the drug they will launch this year. These two distinguished scientists, they have won Nobel Prize because they have found two important targets for treating cancer with immunotherapy. This is making it possible for us to make drug out of it. Because of this important discovery, they have won Nobel Prize. We talk about PD-1. The two drugs reckon $20 billion. CTLA-4, just one company has made a drug out of it already. So this is a new area, immunotherapy. This is really the representative landmark event. Now, Akeso Bio wants to lead the immunotherapy 2.0. That is because late-stage cancer treatment, unfortunately, the immunopathway, usually there is actually more than one. So more than one system are involved. So when we say PD-1 antibody is broad spectrum, but this is really about probability. Out of 100 patients, the treatment of cancer, if we have 30 or 40% response rate, we'll be excited and call it a great drug. But 60 or 70% patients, they are actually incurable, and they are at the end of the line. So in that spectrum, how do we find a drug that's even better than PD-1, better than CTLA-4, which is why we're proposing the treatment of cancer has to be a composition, a combo or triple or even 4-in-1 therapy. Important, drug is about, this is the biospecific antibodies. We put PD-1, CTLA-4, just for example, put them together. In this case, you're going to have a higher probability of success. That's going to be the next stage.
And right now, we really lead the rest of the world because we have not only combined the PD-1 and the CTLA-4 together. Although we face some international competitors such as Ericsson, and we noticed that from the data we released, we still lead the rest of the world in this technology development. And speaking about drug R&D, of course, we have enjoyed at least 100 years worthy of history and also the foundation. You can see our pipeline product is really great. From this product R&D, some is a bispecific product. And in the future, we're definitely going to lead the tumor resistant 2.0 in the bispecific antibody production. We'll also make full preparation for it. Currently stage in one of the manufacturing places in Zhongshan already been approved by the NMPA and the Guangdong Drug Administration. They passed the auditing, and also for the other antibody drug called Pineapple are going to be produced in this production base next year. And for the next step we want to take is in the GBA area in the Guangzhou, China, Singapore Knowledge City. We already finished the one modern manufacture base. And also in Zhongshan, the blessed places for myself, we also have received great support from the Zhongshan municipal government. I remember clearly that when we plan all those kind of resources, especially in the implementation phase, the current vice mayor and also the other secretary has given us a great acknowledgement and support. They give us the biggest support they can offer to us, such as a manufacturing base in Zhongshan has worked closer together with the Drug Research Institute, with which perhaps we are going to enjoy more closer ties in the future research. At the current stage, in Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, Zhongshan, Hong Kong, and Nantong, US, Australia, you can find all our sub-office. We wish, just like when we go out at the very stage, perhaps one day we can bring the knowledge back. We want to go global at the current stage, because in the future, we are going to have a better footholdings in Zhongshan. In the new era, we wish we can continue to build the high-end biopharmaceutical brand to promote the bispecific antibody to lead the 2.0 tumor immunotherapy era. For the Acasobio, these two characters means we want to guarantee people's health, protect everyone with our innovative drug. Thank you so much. Thank you for Dr. Xia for your amazing speech. Perhaps we need to give you a round of applause for Dr. Xia and also all the speakers for their wonderful sharings. Well, recently we can see around the world, health and medicine innovation has been further expedited and to categorize all kinds of new technology. This will become the new battlefield for the competition. So this forum is not only a good opportunity to promote the technology, but also academic sharings in this industry. We want to, through the different methods, different angle, to discuss the latest status quo and the concept in the big health industry, and also to build a platform that everyone can utilize and leverage resources. And also with this great opportunity, we are going to give full play to complementary advantage in Zhongshan and Hong Kong, and further facilitate Zhongshan's own advantage and the strengths in this part. And perhaps we can, by joining hands together, to have an integrated development in the whole GBA area. Now we come to the perfect conclusion. We'd like to wish every entrepreneurs to have a fruitful afternoon, and wish everyone going to have an in-depth collaboration and communication. Thank you.